Hello. our working session meeting to order. I have been asked that it's not on the agenda, but that we do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would appreciate it. And Mr. Walters, if you would please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess we'll do a moment of silence. Sorry. Thank you, everyone.
Please remember 9/11.
Oh, yes, that's right. So busy. Okay, the first item on our agenda this evening is athletics. Mr. Krasinski, please.
Thank you. Good evening. The first item on the agenda after this evening is the Hall of Fame. We did meet as a committee about a month ago. We looked over the bylaws and all that we had set up. The members made recommendations that's been shared with you. A couple of the highlights I want to highlight from that meeting that were brought up is one, possibly moving the award of the Hall of Fame to our AAA awards, as we are trying to promote both the athletic and academic and clubs portion of it. We felt that it would give us an opportunity to recognize those clubs and academics at the first half of the awards, and then, of course, athletics on the second half. We also thought that it would give us more time to get candidates nominated by the community. One of the other things was to getting the information out to the community as well. Maybe putting it into the West End happenings, really promote it on our social media platforms, and also on the district website as well. So those revisions and all are there. Please look over those. We'll look to see if they meet. Everyone reads them and they're good. We'd like to get those adopted and updated for the future. And if we don't, then we'll continue to do it at our home basketball game.
Can I add?
Oh, yeah,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Guzecki was there.
Yes, I had something to. What we also were talking about was that night is when most of our students that are high achievers are honored. So by doing the Hall of Fame that night, parents and relatives could see, hey, here's somebody that did this back then. When my kid gets eligible for it, maybe we'll see more people putting applications out and things like that, because that's the big thing. You see, a lot of people say, oh, we only thought it was athletic. Well, now if you see it here, and those are your top performers in arts and science and stuff like that, then we could, possibly increase
Just
it.
want to try and get more variety of people that are nominated for the Hall of Fame.
So, question. I don't recall how long the AAA awards took this past year.
Actually, they weren't as long as in the past. It was pretty well scripted and laid out with having our assistant principals and I think some other folks reading through the script that was already set up. We asked that the coaches save their comments for their end of the season type dinners and all for their seniors at that time. So it did shorten it up.
So, wondering, adding this in, what you project as a time that the length of the event, the total event might be.
If you know, we have to have it within 15 minutes for a halftime because that's all we're allowed to get the public recognition.
But
I think we would still do the reception.
Okay, that's where, yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me so you're only talking about recognizing them, but you're going to do the reception
We
ahead
can
of
do like
time,
a reception, yeah. Our thing
Like
is to
we've
do
done.
it prior to the AAAs in the library.
like we've done in the past.
Yes, we wouldn't
Okay.
take that away.
Okay,
That's the
I'm
very
thinking
first
you were
local
taking
event.
that away. Okay,
No,
and
no,
just
no,
doing,
we would not do
and
that,
just
no.
doing,
We would
okay.
just have it in the spring because sometimes we worry about weather too with rescheduling and all. I mean, we've gotten lucky the last couple of years. We didn't have to reschedule with those types of events. So
Okay.
that was one of the things that was brought up as well.
oh,
But again, we've made those recommendations. We ask that you please look those over and, if you feel that they're good or we need to make some more revisions, please let us know and we can do those as well.
Do you think there'd be an opportunity to also have recognition of the Hall of Famers that were inducted at one of the sporting events? Because then you have,
I think we could do that too, yeah.
it's exciting to see. We usually get good turnout that when I've seen past years.
We do.
And it's, another subgrouping of community that comes to those events versus potentially the AAAs.
Gotcha.
So what are your wishes as far as timing of approval for this?
I mean,
Well, the difference would be if we wait till the spring, then the nominations can continue
Can
on.
continue till-
October. But if we're going to go with, what was it?
Currently, it's October 1st.
October 1st.
October 1st, they have to be in by?
For the current,
If we're gonna have it in at a basketball game. If we're not gonna have it at a basketball game.
so currently it's due October 1st.
Okay,
If we would extend it and do it at the end of the year, then we could extend the nomination period until January 1st. And then have it, a meeting, and then from that meeting, declare who the 5 candidates that would meet the criteria for it.
so in other words, you really need approval at our September,
If
At our
we
next
want,
meeting.
yes, if we
at our
want to do
voting meeting.
that, yes.
Okay. Any other comments, any thoughts? Are you okay with it going on? I'd like to read it again. I've read it once, but
I think it makes sense.
I'd like to read it again. There's a
Okay.
couple little things in there.
And again, I think we can clean up too through via email too.
Yeah. That I just wonder about.
Sure.
So, when you do the election, with people not there or having to call them, I'm not so sure. I'd just like to read it again.
Sure.
So, all right,
The call-in part was just that,
my question would be, I don't understand why if someone's not going to be there, why they can't mail in their vote or hand it in.
right, during the session.
I know you
Yeah.
talk, it's probably just like we do our Hall of Fame. I understand the
Right,
whole
and
process.
what's been brought up is some people, like, say, I mean, those of us have been around for like.
Mhm, I understand, have
Yeah,
additional comments to
okay.
add. I get that. I
Right.
get all of that.
That's what,
But you still do a
Those-
vote anyway,
well, what happened is those votes are coming in before any discussions have. So
right?
people don't
Mhm.
know why someone wants this person or not this person, or,
Mhm.
you know, a better choice and stuff like that. So they're saying they call in. and
Do
they
you-
I think it was just to provide more information to those folks that were not present,
Yeah.
so that,
I
you know,
understand, I get all that. I really truly do. That's how we do our state one for bowling. I kind of get it. We have an election committee just like this, the same thing. But we also then, after the, well, it's a little bit different. All our Hall of Fame members get to vote on the individuals. Then the election committee looks at what those results are, and then we vote to see who's actually going to go in. So it's a longer process, but I just I just have some thoughts.
and
All
that's
right,
fine.
I don't want to belabor it
We're
here.
open to that too. I mean,
Okay.
We brought up some of the concerns, because the bylaws have not been updated since 2015. Things have changed over time now.
Right,
And we wanted to make sure that we were,
yeah,
most
sure.
up to date
absolutely.
with everything.
And most of the concerns that with that were those committee members that were looking to get people outside of athletics. And they were looking to have their opportunity to speak more about what these other people have done in the community. The athletic, basically, you have the stats, you have that,
Right,
it's
mhm.
pretty cut and dry.
Right.
But these other members that were more for the outside, the doctors or the, actors or whatever.
Right.
They were the ones that were saying that we want to be able to talk about these people more and everyone listened to them, so.
Well, we had one last year that was not
Yeah.
part of athletics, and person eloquently spoke about that person.
Mhm.
So I don't think we're not capturing all
Oh,
of that.
yeah,
Well, they want more, they were
You only
trying.
get 5.
Yeah.
No,
I
Right.
think more nominations.
Nominations
for those
type
I think
of
individuals.
Yeah.
That's up to
the different categories is what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, all right, go ahead.
Right, so are we good on the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, mhm.
All right, so the next thing on the agenda for this evening is a scoreboard in our stadium. About February or January last year, I had started a conversation with Dr. Conrad, and I said, would you mind if I went out and kind of searched for sponsorships or partnerships with individuals? So we had taken some time and we visited with local financial institutions, Dr. Howard as well. We met with some of the financial institutions in our area. And over the course of 6 to 7 months, we've had discussions And, we shared the importance of what a digital scoreboard and other items could do for the school district and partnering with us to provide those. And, we talked about curriculum, we talked about the community engagement with it and all. And I'm happy to bring to you this evening that First Northern Bank has offered to sponsor a new digital scoreboard in our stadium. Approximate cost is $300,000. Mrs. Smale will be talking about that in just a minute with the financing of it. That would take place if you're accepting at the next board meeting after this season. They would begin to take the old board down and have that ready for the spring and also graduation. And one of the key things that we had talked about with First Northern with that community engagement would have been, doing a movie night on the turf, really engaging the community with this item that would be added to our stadium. So any questions on that this evening?
I just have one, we ran into this with baseball. Is this 300,000, is that gonna include the installation of the board? Like, what happened, like, before we had the free, I guess it was baseball or softball, and then we only found out that we ended up having to find.
Some of it, we did talk about, there could be some electrical upgrades that we needed to do and all.
But the overall installation, like, to bring.
They
in
came out, the
frame
steel and all, our
Yep.
steel is still good.
So,
Yep.
but they're gonna actually put this price will include the people installing.
This is
it.
them installing everything and a new sound system as well.
I would think new scoreboards would consume less electricity than the old
It
ones
would,
because
and-
of that.
And we may need to do some fiber, just update the fiber to the press box, because of the just wear and tear over the years that it's been there.
Well, the scoreboard breaks down every so often anyhow, maybe sometimes.
What's nice is, actually, Mrs. Smale, we actually met with the company. It's hooked up cellular, so if something goes wrong on the board, it sends them a signal to say that there's something wrong with the board.
They'll know before we.
They'll know before we even find out. And each box is separate, so that if one box goes out, it can send a signal through the, it's hard to explain, but they pass the signal through both sides of each one of those squares that's on it. So if one side of the square goes out, it can push it through the other side until they get a technician out. They had really went over with us the ins and outs of everything. So before we made the commitment, we really did our research with the company and all too. And they are servicing the ones at Pocono Mountain, many of the ones in the valley. So they're here in the area, which is good too.
What's the turnaround on construction wise?
That was my question. How long does that process look like?
For delivery, once we place the order, it's 8 to 12 weeks that it'll be here. And it'll take them
A week.
7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days to install it.
Yes.
And this has been approved by First Northern already?
Our solicitor and their solicitors have come up with a contract.
Okay.
And I'm sure that you'll be shared with that in executive session to look over the details of that.
Well, this is a great thing for PV, for our athletics, our whole
I
community.
think it's for
It's
our
whole
community.
community. And kudos to First Northern, and I'm sure we'll do something to properly thank them.
Oh, yes, definitely,
At
yes.
halftime of something, or do something like we did before when we received, I know from Senator Brown, the big check to do with the installation of the turf, the original turf way back when. So I think we need to plan something on those sorts for that.
And also from a curriculum perspective, this opens up a whole bunch of new classes for
I
digital
definitely gives us
media.
opportunity to run a digital media club, that hopefully that digital media club will roll into digital curriculum for our course selections with our students, adding them to our football games, soccer games and everything, run the fan cam. They can add live pictures right to the board as the game is going on. It opens up for our students a very large opportunity to advance in the digital curriculum realm of
I mean,
things.
especially from where our players walk currently and where they'll walk in the future. You get a drone up there, that's what they do at Nazareth, and they have music all the way through. I mean, it's really awesome for the experience.
And
not just the fans, but
especially,
students.
it's full circle because now, you have the kids producing all the video material that will be out on the scoreboard, from intros for each team, pictures to the advertising. And that's another thing, it'll open up revenue for us through advertising as well.
And graduation enhancements.
Correct, just like you saw last year at graduation with the mobile sign, we'll be able to do that again, much bigger this year for our graduates, yes.
Awesome, good job.
Yeah, great job. So are we going to talk about financing
Mrs.
now? I know
Snell
it was
will
under, somewhere I saw one.
take, letter C.
Okay.
So as, for the next board meeting, the agreement will be on there. Our solicitor and First Northern's, we've already come to an agreement with it. First Northern's fine with it. So what their agreement with us is that they will make 5 equal installments, one over the next 5 years, to total the total purchase price of it. So I'm coming to you now with 2 purchase options for the scoreboard.
Mhm.
The first purchase option is the finance option. We can finance it through Digital Signs Capital, and it would be a payment of $66,250.06 once a year for 5 years, for a total of $331,250, which means the district would be paying interest of $57,610. The second option is, from our CIP plan, the athletic area is in our CIP plan. We can pay this upfront for $273,640 out of the cap reserve fund, because it is a project that's in there. And as First Northern pays us these payments once over the next 5 years, we just replenish the cap reserve fund, and it will be no interference of any of the projects that are planned for that funding. I spoke to Dr. Conrad about this. We both are recommending option number 2.
Absolutely.
So I just need the board's head nod. We'll put the agreement on for the next board agenda, and then we can move forward with this.
I'd like to avoid $54,000.
We all do. So I think we're all in agreement, it's 2.
I need to give you all the information.
That's a lot of interest for
It is.
4 years.
Um,
Whoa, 5 years, whatever.
Thankfully, we're in a position that we can
Right.
do this.
If what is it? In the event that we have another emergency capital project that we have to do, is this gonna interfere like greatly into that? Like say something comes up, kind of, Stroudsburg right now, I just read this morning that Stroudsburg doing asbestos removal in multiple buildings. If we have an issue come up, how do we look if we go ahead and do something like this?
If an issue would come up that would cost a lot of money, we would have to postpone something that's on the CIP plan.
Okay.
Is what we would have to do.
Understood.
This $273,000 isn't gonna harm us in any of our CIP plans. It's not gonna delay anything. And I would like to personally thank First Northern Bank. They
Yes.
were very easy to work with. They were very eager to participate in this project. And they're very excited about it. So I want to thank them.
Yes, absolutely.
And we look forward to do more with our gym and all too. We're working to look for sponsorships and partnerships for those boards as well. So
That's next on the list.
that's next on our list. We just want to,
Okay.
let people know that, partnering with us is going to have a good outcome for our community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Korzenick, before you sneak away, you weren't here last board meeting.
What's
So,
that?
where we
Oh,
won
yeah.
$5,000
Oh,
for.
okay, yes, thank you.
So everyone's eagerly awaiting, what are the options? I mean, it's great news that we won. the
So yes, we
$5,000.
did win $5,000 from T-Mobile. Last year we got in the game late. This year we got in right when it opened, along with our media people, or our social media people and our teams. We had a meeting with Blue Crew and Mrs. Meese over there this week. Our numbers are going up. So we are now in the next level based upon our social media and what we push out with T-Mobile and the 5G Friday night under the lights. We have the opportunity to win and secure $25,000. And if we make that level, then we have the opportunity to be selected for the $1 million makeover at the stadium. So we've met with our student population leaders, and they're really pushing it. If you follow their Instagrams and look at their Instagrams, they are now pushing out those hashtags. And we hope we're in that next level. We had some schools in the area win the 5,000 twice already now. So we're hoping we can get that in this last week too. But we're definitely in the next level for the 25,000, and we look forward to push out that social media burst that we do every week, and hopefully we can win that as well.
Great.
Anything else?
Yes, before you
Yes.
escape. Do we have anything on the books yet for next meeting with the feeder programs to kind of go over what the winter's gonna look like?
Mr. Smale and I had to actually just talk about 2 weeks ago. We're looking mid-October
In October.
to do that, yes.
Thank you.
Get your 5,000. Where do you?
We're looking, it has to be spent in the stadium, because it is, private. So we're looking at, play clocks at either end of the field. Currently, we don't have them. Most stadiums have those. That's one of the things. We looked at a raised, scorers table or table that the people that are managing the game can see. So those are some of the things that we're looking at. We have not made a definite.
So upgrades toward our stadium.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for this evening? All right, off to Parkland. We play Parkland tonight for football. Again, thank you for this evening for allowing me to present.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. At this time, is there anyone in the public that would like to ask anything to do with the athletic piece that we just spoke about? Okay, moving on. Turn the page. Dr. Conrad, do we have any superintendent's
Yes.
community questions this evening?
We did. So good evening, everyone. There was a question regarding fobs for employees. It was nice. I was able to follow up with the employee. We had a good digital dialogue. And the individual who may be impacted by not receiving a fob, I'm hoping that they'll reach out to me. They haven't yet. But again, when it comes to safety and security, we have to be very specific about who has access to what. So I certainly encourage conversations if people feel that they would like something, but I think people also have to understand too, we have to be very intentional about what we are going to allow in terms of access to our district. That's all.
Thank you. Moving on to operations, is Randy trying to still fix our,
He's upstairs, I just texted.
oh, okay. Should we-
Mike,
Can Mike go? Okay, we'll let Mike go. We're on to item B then, our construction project update.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you again for having me, another month here. Very happy to give this update as we worked extremely hard at the end of the summer to get everybody back in. So it's a little bit of a breath of relief. Really excited to show some cool photos here and give you a heads up of what's going on next. So just as we wrapped in here, we were able to work on pretty much all those green sections there inside the building besides the gym. And we're working to get the blue areas completed now. Blue and red is where you're gonna see a lot of activity in these upcoming photos. And you guys have your updated traffic plan. This is our site plan for our contractors, so it's a little bit different. But the same sense, we are kind of out front and again out back with the cafeteria addition, mechanical room addition, and then that new admin suite going on out front. So we're still circling on all the sides, still working very diligently to get things done. But we've had a lot of success so far. So a little bit on the inside stuff. A lot of stuff finished in the last 2 weeks of the summer here. We did a lot of the interior finishes and fit out, as we call them, in all those first phase rooms, including the band and choral areas, the library, corridors, a bunch of classrooms. We got a bunch of cool photos down the bottom showing those. We did have a lot of stuff that gets hidden away in the MEPs above the ceilings, a lot of new ductwork, a ton of piping. Massive piping that went on that'll help us in the next phase to provide AC and heating in future parts, which is great. And a lot of electrical systems. We're prepped and ready to go. As you know, part of this is going to be a brand new electrical system. So a lot of stuff is done behind the scenes and unfortunately above the ceilings, but it's a massive amount of work. Along with that, a lot of the visual stuff includes demolition to existing walls and fit out of new areas and spaces, and a lot of new walls going on to define new spaces. So we have the auditorium that got a beautiful facelift there. part of the band and choral rooms, and then what will be the new entrance into the cafeteria that is blocked off as we continue to work there, but that would be that bottom photo at the right-hand side. So with that, just a couple more interior photos going on. So the Bear Academy got completed and finished, working through some of the punch list items there. So we got some wonderful new classroom and office spaces. The library got a beautiful upgrade and facelift and a new mechanical system. And so did it's kind of the senior corridor right now. And behind that all, we still have more construction going on. So we are upstairs right now, as you can see. That is new ductwork and electrical systems being roughed in for future HVAC and power and lights. So that's where the guys are in the current science room. So that'll keep on going on until about the Christmas time frame. And then that top right here corner there, that doesn't look like much yet, but it will be a brand new set of gang bathrooms. That's the dividing wall that splits them in half. So a lot of great stuff going on so far as we wrapped up the summer and into the.
Don't click yet, Mike.
Go ahead.
So the middle picture at the bottom, the new cabinetry.
Yep.
Like what room is that? Do you have any idea?
That's it. Yeah, I do. That's in the Bear Academy. That would be like their little, not conference room, call it prep room, staff room, whatever you'd like to. But yeah, that's what that one is.
All right, and then the picture above that is still Bear Academy also?
That is another one. That is like their grander kind of classroom when they need it.
Okay.
Bottom corner. Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, outside now. So just as much that went on inside went on outside, as you guys can tell. So in the kind of starting the bottom there, the admin addition suite is really defined now. So even today, these pictures are old. That last remaining bit of stone there, that was poured concrete this morning. So we have all the slab on grade completed as of today. So that really defines that admin space. Then moving towards the back of the school, a lot of demolition activity and prep work for the future mechanical and kitchen spaces are underway. Kind of working back in time, obviously the end of the summer, we wrapped up doing all the new bus parking and loop that you have there, all the islands, the curbs, the site lighting, all that was completed. And then working to wrap up that front expansion parking lot as we speak. So a lot of activity going on. We are expecting, it is Wednesday, we will start seeing the first round of steel for the admin addition area. So within the next time I get to talk with you, I should have some pretty cool photos of that actually taking shape. So that's always a really cool part for everybody.
Quick question, with the good weather, they should have been making progress ahead of what we would have anticipated.
Mhm.
If you had to make a value judgment, are we a couple of weeks ahead of your birth chart or right on?
Excellent question, Norm. So that's a great one. We're on track right now. We're progressing well. We want to keep
So
gaining
you're
there.
saying we're not ahead?
I would not commit that we are. We're right where we need to be. The goal is we're going to get closed before winter time, which allows a lot of activity. So that's where we'll come to me again, and I'll but yes, we're tracking very well.
The reason I asked this question is because the emphasis now has to be that we have to have maximum cooperation to make sure we don't do anything that delays the program. Because once we get behind, now recognize that we've had a tremendous year for construction with few interruptions.
Mhm.
And if we're just on track, that means we got a pretty steady road to push ahead yet.
Yeah.
So we got to do our part not to interrupt them.
Well said. Yeah, it's a complete team effort. You know, it takes you guys as a board and the contractors work together with us and everybody else to pull together. So we're where we want to be. We want to continue to gain. As you can attest with our progress meetings, everyone's full speed ahead. We have not let off the gas because every 6 months or so, we turn another part over to you and get another part. So it's not like we have a long line of limbo time here where we can be messing around. So
What is your bottom right? What's that?
bottom right is what would be the slab on grade prep in the new admin suite. So that is the stone subgrade before vapor barrier goes down.
It just looks like it's down. Is that down like under?
Down under as in what?
I don't know, it just
I
looks
think
like.
it's the,
It's
It's just, yeah, oh,
It looks
yes,
below
sorry.
the.
Yeah.
it looks below.
I have a drone
Somebody
shot,
put
so.
you down under.
Yeah,
underground.
Nope, I'm sorry.
Secret tunnel.
Yeah, it was an early
If you
morning
look at the
photos,
other one
the sun's
below it.
coming over that. I see what you're saying.
If you
Yes.
look below, If you look at the picture, well, he doesn't have it up there.
Yeah, well, the next one will
Next
help
one,
us.
you'll see it,
The
yeah.
next one will help us out. So
Yeah,
there
the
you
next
are.
one will. Yeah, there
We're all
it is.
bumped right there.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Mike, I
Yep.
have a quick question.
Good.
How are you doing on supplies and deliveries? Is anything not coming in, steel's coming,
Yeah.
all the stuff for Glencoe's coming
Yeah.
in?
So excellent question. All the long lead items we have under track right now, so we're in good shape. Actually today, as I was walking out, they got a gigantic delivery of door frames, which has been a selective issue recently. Steel is fabricated in a shop on a trailer. It's now just trying to get it out here. So for the stuff so far, we've been doing very well. Everyone's been very proactive on that. They're trying to grab things as fast as they can. Thankfully here, we have a very large staging area, so we can place it in that fenced-in area. So we've been taking it as fast as they can make it. So we kind of try to stay ahead of that.
Have you also been seeing any sort of prices coming in on some of these orders to see if everything's kind of on mark with where we thought they were gonna be several months ago?
Yeah, we haven't had anything that's been outrageous.
Nothing's
Everything's been
jumping
pretty
out.
steady and locked in. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of, I don't think we've had any kind of complaints bubbled up through guys that suppliers are being ridiculous. So it's been pretty steady, yeah. Couple really cool, drone photos starting in the top left there. You can now really definitely see the outline of that additional parking spot. Since that photo's been taken, storm structures are in and they're on pace. I think it's middle to end of next week, they'll actually do the curbing and paving will follow shortly.
Yeah, the $100,000 question is, when's the bus driver's parking lot gonna be completed?
I heard. So we're working on, we're ramping that schedule up as fast as we can. I'm thinking we're just a couple weeks out is what we're really shooting for. So
So
curbing is
you're
our next,
looking like approximately 1 October is the year.
that would be our goal. Yes. Bearing anything crazy weather-wise, we're gonna try to strive for that. Curbing next week. Electrician will get in and set 2 light bases and we'll look to schedule the paving.
And the holdup there was PPL for a while.
PPL was by almost a month, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Get it late.
Yeah, I think you went over that last time.
Yeah,
What
we're-
will that free up then? When that happens, from our standpoint, what does that free up for kids?
We don't have any control over PPL, so we just have to.
Yeah, when the project's complete.
Yeah.
How
When is
many
it complete?
spaces?
When
How
is
many
it
spaces do we?
The parking
Eighty-some?
spaces.
Correct.
80-some?
So what it'll look like for the parking spaces is that they're currently parking in the spaces right in the front main entrance of the high school. All of those spaces will then shift over. What'll happen is that the parking spaces where our staff are by the band hallway, they'll be able to then shift over, which creates anywhere from about 80 to 90-ish new spaces for students that are in queue to get their parking pass
That's
to
what
be
I
able to
need, that's
park.
what I needed to.
Yep. I just wanted to articulate it, so thanks.
Then moving down in the bottom center there, that is the new parking lot in the back there. So an aerial, I think, does it the most justice. You can see the layout, the amount of bus spacing and
It is.
organization. I know for the first time people went through it, they thought it didn't make a lot of sense. And, that's just trying something new. But so when you see it from an aerial, I think it really gives it, maximizes the space you have available. And then we already talked about the top left would be what is now the new admin addition. So as of this morning, that stonework is gone and we have a concrete slab on grade there being prepped and ready to go for steel next week. So a lot of good stuff. Quick snapshot overall. We are tracking in very good space. So we're still pushing ahead on the additions up top there, the A, B, and C phases, and working on a bunch of the closeouts of the current phases. We call them punch list activities, and then getting ready to prep up for additional site work. So where we want to be, we're continuing to drive ahead. We continue to have a lot of manpower still on site. We did, like I said, go down a little bit to where we should be, but we have a lot of people doing a lot of great things. Up next, so some stuff that you guys are going to see is you'll see the additions in the back now really take shape as they move their forces to pull them together. Foundation's already complete. The mechanical addition, you just really can't see that. So we'll start to see steel probably by the end of the month. We'll swing there. We'll flop between steel and slab on grade in that sequence, and then cafeteria addition will be right behind it. MEP stuff are full bore upstairs. Tons of guys going to town putting ductwork, hydronic piping, domestic piping, and electrical rough-in, so that's a great thing to see, and we're hoping that the GC is chasing guys down at the November timeframe, doing ceiling grids and getting ready to go as we work for finishes. So, we'll continue to work with the team as we get closer to the next phase turnover, and as the classroom layout shift a little bit, we get another plan out for everybody, and we'll get everyone prepped as we have the next transition coming in the Christmas timeframe when we shift classes. So that's everything that I have.
Any questions?
So I can say we did the walkthrough a month ago maybe.
Yeah.
And then I was in there last night for back to school and it's night and day. So great job to you and your team and our art staff here for getting that cleaned up for back to school. I'm sure it looked much better than it did that first day than it did, in a couple of days in. But I mean, it looks amazing once it's all cleaned up and you can actually, you had visions of what it was gonna be, but now you actually got to see it and walk through the same places. So, it's come to fruition. So great job to you guys and we appreciate it.
But we thank you. It's a giant team effort. Like I said, the team here, the team over there, not one person can get that done. So it takes a team to do something of this magnitude.
So quick question on punch list. Do you have much punch list items left?
Actually, we did fairly well. We talked about that today. Most of the contractors are through theirs. Vast majority was paint touch-ups. Walls got bumped or nicked by things moving in. Nothing of any magnitude. Maybe have light sensors that weren't programmed right. So the guys took opportunities to jump on that. Again, they'll jump on it tomorrow when we don't have students in place. So we've hit it pretty hard. So they know that the longer you wait, the more lists get hit. So they've been pretty proactive with that.
In your ductwork, you're talking about your ductwork continuing, stuff like that, but even if it's not finished by winter, we still have the accessible heat.
Yep.
So it's just to put that out there.
Yeah, everything is still run. So we are, the added challenge to this is there's multiple systems running in place that eventually completely go away. So mechanical guys are balancing that, whether it's temporary piping or connections, as we move through and we complete areas to make sure things still are maintained and active, and we pull stuff out of there and kind of go in a big circle.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the
Appreciate it.
update.
Thank
Back up here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back up to letter A. Right, Randy? Is that where you're at? Under operations?
We can do that first. We'll give you,
See now, right?
No, A.
we'll do the video.
thought you did that first.
Oh, no, we didn't do that. All right, so this is just a video, I guess. Okay. Nice job, Brian.
We saw you ducking back there.
All right, we're looking to add another card reader at the end of D Hall, that's down by the wood shop. That's currently where we're putting parent drop off for the kids. There's a lot of activity there. There's not a card reader in that door, so we'd like to install one. I'd like to put that on the next board agenda for approval, to add that. I'd like to speed that along because I've been getting a lot of complaints from staff. The staff also use that doorway too as access now with the parking behind the new gym.
And once we do this, Randy, will we need it on that door when we're done?
I think it's gonna be a good location
Yes.
for it.
Okay, guess is my
Because
question.
like access from the stadium,
Yeah.
you'll be able to get right there. to
Oh,
that
that's
door.
true.
The first door there,
Yeah.
so I think it will probably stay there permanently, would be my recommendation. And if not, we can take those parts and
Move them,
have it for spares.
okay, or
So it
move them
wouldn't
to
be a
it.
total waste
Okay.
by any means.
And is the total price the 5,130? Is that what I'm seeing?
That's correct.
Okay.
You see any other areas of the school that need this at this current time, or just this one?
At the current time, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
All the other access points have card readers on them. This is the only one that's a fairly critical access point that we do not have one on.
And for 2 more years, it's better to have it there anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we'll see how this unfolds, but I'm thinking that's gonna stay there permanently.
Yeah,
It's a pretty good location.
Why there wasn't one there.
Yeah, because really the only way to get into the high school from the stadium, you gotta walk all the way around by the trainer's room, which once the project's done, that's gonna get closed off, so that will not be an access point anymore. I
Everyone-
saw, with your approval, I'd like to put that on the next,
From a safety standpoint. I think it's
Everybody's
important
shaking
to
their
see.
head, I believe, so
okay.
please put it on.
Sorry for the heat in here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the compressor just went on that air handler upstairs.
Uh-oh.
So we're gonna have to work on that tomorrow. Right? Huh? We need the air over here.
To
be
be
honest. Just a quick update on the Rekeying project that we had done this summer. The cores finally came, we got those in. We're probably 90% through with distributing the keys. So the teachers have been patient because they wanted locks for their doors, but we've been patient in school today. But there's 200 and some doors just in PVE alone, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be happy with it so far. Any questions on that? All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions for Randy?
Back
I
for,
have one question. For the total cost of 5,130, it said on the contract that it doesn't, they have to patch walls and things like that, that's not included in the price or permit cost, et cetera, et
Yes,
cetera.
they're not going to because
Okay.
fortunately, we have all the ceiling brick apart, so it's very easy for them to just run their wires right down the hallways and get to the panel that they have to hook up to.
Because their contract said this is not included in the
Yeah,
building.
that's
Yeah, that's standard.
standard. Standard.
It's not bad. Anything else?
Okay.
Might as well ask the community again.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah. Nobody else has questions up here, okay. Anyone else in the community have any questions under Randy, which is operations? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Randy. All right, moving on to finance.
Good evening, everybody. Item A tonight under finance is a review of the cap reserve for 2018 bond and the consolidated bond reports for August. The cap reserve account has an available balance of $21,191,118.73. The 2018 bond account has an available balance of $0. And the consolidated bond account has an available balance of $2,872,206.34 at August 31st. Does anybody have any questions?
Don't see any.
Item B is the EBTEP report for June of 2025. This report is unaudited at this point. EBTEP will go through their audit. They usually, November, December, they go through their audit. So for now, our EBTEP reserve balance at June 31st, 2025 was $5,220,827.66, equivalent to 5 months of reserve, and we are required to maintain 4 months, so we're in a good place with that. Anybody have any questions on that?
Okay.
And my last item tonight is, I want to review the St. Luke's YES program. The YES program stands for Your Emotional Strength Support. The program originally started at Pleasant Valley during the 22-23 school year. Since then, this program has serviced 1,754 students were seen, assessed, referred, and/or treated in the 22-23 school year. 2,624 students were seen, assessed, referred, or treated during the 23-24 school year. And during the 24-25 school year, 1,615 students were seen, assessed, referred, and/or treated. During these 3 years, Pleasant Valley hasn't had to contribute anything from a monetary standpoint. This was all grant funded through St. Luke's. There are 2 therapists on site every day, all day. They rotate the sites. Sometimes they're at one site all day, sometimes there are 2 sites on the day. They rotate, but there are 2 therapists here every single day, Monday through Friday. The program has been very beneficial to the well-being of our student population. With everything else, a lot of the grants from COVID have gone away. So St. Luke's is going to continue to run this program. The monetary contribution or donation is not a requirement for them to be here. They will come no matter what. They did talk to all of the school districts that they're providing this service to, and they have asked, their original ask was quite high for a donation. Dr. Conrad had spoken to them initially, and he did negotiate a much lower rate. So it's been ranged with the districts in the IU anywhere from 10,000 up to 25,000, the districts in the IU that they have committed to donate to this program. And what that money covers is it'll cover anything that's not covered by the student family's insurance, or if the student family does not even have insurance, they still get this service. So in the negotiations and the discussions, and we knew about this before the budget was finalized, so this is in the budget. So we're asking for a $12,000 donation to the St. Luke's program. And if you do an average of the students that have been seen over the last 3 years, it comes out to $6 a student is what we're asking. And again, this St. Luke's is coming, whether we give them this donation or not. This is just to help them grow the program. So I'd like to put it on for the next board meeting to vote on for approval.
So, of course, this says it's dated the 24th day of April. What's here? So is this,
I'll have them update the
okay,
date on it.
okay.
That's when we started talking about
oh,
this.
okay. So it's for this school year, the $12,000 donation?
It would be for
For
the
this-
25-26
that's what it-
school year. They're already here.
Okay.
Roberta, they're already here.
Yeah, they're hard working.
Okay. Oh, it's a fabulous program. I certainly support the donation wholeheartedly, as far as I'm concerned. So it's for the 12, it's for the 1 year.
For 1 year, every year we'll revisit this, because if they get grant money back, they're not gonna ask us for donation money.
Oh, I see. Okay,
If any of these grants come back into play.
okay, gotcha. What does everyone think?
I'm a yes.
All right,
So we're putting money out for this.
the 12,000.
Would this fall under PCCD?
We don't have the amount, yes, you are correct, it can, but we don't know the amount or the split for PCCD for this year yet. Governor's budget hasn't passed.
Passed.
So they're gonna come regardless, and they're gonna come regardless.
You are gonna come regardless, yes.
I won't be in favor of it. Not against the program, but Saying, you guys just prove it's gonna pass, but
Yeah, I think the benefit outweighs
It's
Yeah.
the benefit to the students.
students.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying, I'm financially, I'm not okay with it because they're gonna come regardless.
And we can put it through PCCD as soon as we know the amounts and what the split is. It could be
They're
again
gonna come whether
all
we
safety.
pay it or not, so
But if everybody didn't contribute, they could just walk away whenever they want. They could.
they're not going anywhere.
I think we owe something.
Good faith.
It's they're servicing our community, our school district, our students.
Where do we fall in comparison to the other districts? Are we like
Low
in
end.
range?
We're at the low end.
Low range?
The lowest one that, from the survey, the lowest one that I have data on is 10,000, so we're asking for 12.
But is it too much to take something from the St. Luke's money that we do get? If that's what's concerned, is like St. Luke's gives us so much money every year, is that something we could use for that money to go to the
I
12?
believe 25, 26 has been budgeted and allocated already.
I think there are guidelines on their other money, so I don't know whether it fits this criteria.
It could fit in two spots, but those two pots of money, I believe, have already been fully allocated and budgeted for this school year.
But we're okay. I think I
Okay,
saw.
but again, I think, to Mr. Gow's point, there's other probably flexibilities we have within the budget that we don't have to do necessarily this year.
I did put this in the budget because we knew about it back in April. We knew that this possibly was coming. But we wanted to wait for the negotiation. So it was budgeted. It is in there. So it's not coming, it's
I
not.
understand, it's not new money, I get it, but what I'm saying is there's probably some other stuff in the budget that are nice to haves that we don't necessarily have to go forward with. Whereas I think
You're
something like this, which brings back to the student, is at the forefront of what we need to be doing, as opposed to something else. I won't even mention it, but
I could read your mind. I won't say it.
that's my point.
Okay, but we're okay with it going on the agenda for
Yes.
approval. Okay, all right.
That's all I have this evening. Yep, that's all I have for your finance.
Okay, thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone in the public that has questions on topics we just went over under finance? Yes.
Yes, I think my question would be about the YES program. Does St. Luke's send back an itemized statement? So without adding up the number of students over the years from 22 to 25, if on average they service 2,000 students, do they send back an amount that were covered by insurance versus the ones that we are not covered with insurance that we need to be paying the 12,000 or 10,000 for?
No.
Not student names, I'm just asking, do they send back, we saw 1,000 students, 800 had insurance, 200 did not, because I think that justifies somewhere along that line, what needs to be covered by students who don't have insurance,
They have not, because this has been a free program.
Program,
This year, Totally free. They
Regardless
all
of what
they
it
give
costs.
us is the number that they've had their seen,
Yeah.
treated, referred.
because you did clearly, you mentioned, which was very good, you clearly mentioned that parents have the option to use their insurance if they're going to continue on in services, and that's what I'm trying to get at with this question, that's all, thank you.
Yeah, no, they did not give us that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to education curriculum. Oops.
Okay.
Hi, who's doing the first one? Or you're doing, okay, all right, thank you.
So I have a curriculum update for ELA. This week I started visiting classrooms to check on the implementation of HMH into reading and into literature. I saw a lot of great things going on, a lot of really great student engagement. Got a lot of valuable feedback from our staff. And I also wanted to mention again, we do have more professional development coming up from HMH for our teachers in ELA in October, February, and March. Those were all included in the original cost.
So in your visits, what is the feedback you're hearing?
There's concern from the teachers, of course, like, you know, are we budgeting our time right? Did we plan right? And I just reassure them, like I did when they made the plans last spring, that, you know, this is a work in progress. And as we move through and we see what our students need at different grade levels, at different levels of ability, then, you know, we're able to adjust that as we go along.
Have we seen any lessons learned that we've been utilizing for when we implement new things like this in the future, as to how do we make the experience of transfer of knowledge to the teachers to make that more palatable to start utilizing and not having that situation you just talked about?
That which
So
situation, that,
you're saying with some of the difficulties of having it all come as much as, you know, as you described it, that's some of the complaints from the teachers that were saying.
well, they're not complaints, they're just concerned about time. And anytime you do something the first time, you have to be mindful of, did I budget the right amount of time for this? Are we going to need more time? Because a recommended time for doing a lesson might be 70 minutes, but our teachers might have 55 every day. So, you know, what parts of the lesson are we going to assign for the kids to do independently? How many days will it take us to actually do this? And that will vary any day, because you want to honor the students in front of you. And some students might master something more quickly, where you can move on before maybe the classroom next door, where the kids could need a little bit more time and a little bit more practice.
So if you're saying we need 70 minutes, but we only have 5 minutes, how, over the course of time, is this gonna affect the test scores if we're not gonna be able to?
I said 55.
55.
She said 55.
Oh,
That was just an example.
That would've been,
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Wasn't an actual situation.
I guess I'm just concerned because if we're gonna be giving tests and this material can't be covered, I mean, you're talking that's one time. How much material are we not gonna get covered that it's gonna show up on the test? It's gonna affect the test score.
Well, I think that's hard to say right now. We just started with actually the HMH yesterday. So this is only day 2, because we do all the other procedures and things in the PVE and PVI. So yesterday was the first day that it started across the district from kindergarten to Keystone, as we say. So we're learning. The teachers did all of this planning. We pulled them out. They did it, they had the leads at the department chairs and people from each grade level at these meetings, and the teachers planned it out. And it's like any year, when you're a teacher, you know what I'm saying. I could sit up at night and plan a lesson, go in the next day, and I could be done with 10 minutes to spare, or I could go in there and there were so many questions, I needed another day. So I think what this information is giving us right now, it's really helping us. We have it planned out, we're making notes, we're making adjustments, and then we'll have that so we can, you know, be flexible. You know, that's the whole thing that we're telling the teachers. This isn't set in stone. We're learning as we go, and it's day 2. I also know that we've heard a lot of positive comments that they really do like the program as well. So, and it's the learning. It's with anything. It's just teaching. Teaching's not set in stone, and we have to be able to adjust with the kids in front of us and what they need, and we'll do that. We're continuing to meet with the teachers. They've had time to meet, and you know, everything we're going through this process, we're going to use when we do the science review. So
when you say it's day 2, so the testing, the pre-testing is completed though. This is now, we're actually into the program.
well, this is 2 totally different. I think you're talking about NWEA.
Okay.
NWEA and HMH are 2 different things. NWEA is a test where we're seeing what the kids know.
Right,
They
this is the
learn. HMH
material
is
that
our
they're gonna be
instructional
tested on.
resource for.
But this is the
yeah.
material that they're gonna be tested on, so.
No, I mean, they're doing tests on the skills, yes,
Correct.
but no, it's not based upon HMH. HMH is like a brand of a textbook.
Right.
It's not the curriculum. It's a resource.
Okay, so this is happening at all levels.
For the most part, yes. Testing is happening at all levels. HMH is not used at every level. And HMH is only ELA. So they're tested on math, they're tested on science. HMH is just the series that we're using for our instructional resource to teach reading.
So where is it not? You said it's not used.
HMH is not using grades 11 and 12.
Yeah, it was K to Keystone we approved it for.
Thank you.
Okay, item,
For the science, to give you a little update on science, so Science Resource Review Team is going to meet on September 16th and 17th next week. We're going to review the resources from various companies. And we're also going to have a few 30-minute demonstrations from some of the companies on their digital platform to kind of give a taste to the teachers as they go through the evaluation tool. I've also been working with IU20 to create a STEELS cohort with about 5 to 7 educators, and what we're going to do is visit a few other districts to see STEELS in action, which is the PA STEELS standards. In October, we're heading over to Northampton Area School District. November, December, we're heading to Nazareth. And then in February, March, we're going to host their districts here for us so that we can see how our teachers are implementing STEELS. And it's all just for collaborative purposes.
They're coming here to sit in their class and
Walk through and take a look at and see what are some good things going on, what hiccups did teachers have implementing, what's been working. So it's going to be an ongoing collaborative. We're talking with the IU. The goal is this is the preliminary cohort. Next year, we're planning to expand it to more districts. A little update on NWBA. So tomorrow we have our next math growth training for our staff. And elementary teachers are going to receive their math reading fluency training. And I've also arranged NWBA to provide breakfast for all the staff in all the buildings between the trainings. And then at the end of the day, we are going to have a survey that's going to come out. And this survey is going to kind of get a little feel for their experience with the NWBA PD that they've had and the use of the program, and engage their interest also in future professional opportunities.
So Jonathan, the science review on the 16th and 17th, do you know how many you're going to review?
7 to 8.
7 to 8. And all 7 to 8 are going to do a 30-minute presentation?
Nope, it's, I've reached out, no, so right now I have 4 lined up.
4?
Yep.
A part of those 4 is one of the platforms that we are currently using for the ELA?
Yes.
Because that would make sense if that makes a right fit, that it's the same tool, and we're not asking people to relearn something new. So I'm hoping we thought about that long-term. That way it's one platform, one way of working, not multiple different ways.
They still
throughout.
Yep. Now, the last I had was this morning was they're just picking the time. So as long as they get back to me, but we'll set up, if it's not this time, we are going to continue to narrow it down and, we can revisit them if they don't. So like I said, I only have 4. HMH is one of them. It's Actively Learn, Discovery Ed, and FOSS.
Now, have you seen any of them yourself, or is this your first time?
I've cruised through a bunch of them. I've also talked to different curriculum supervisors at different districts and what they're using. So, so that's kind of why I pulled that, from what they've been using, and also through EverWorks. And also, at the end of last year, I gave a needs assessment survey to the science committee review team that volunteered their time, and I took about the top 8 that they selected. So, which basically ties together about the 8 that we have.
Anyone else?
I do want to add something along with all of this. I do want to highlight the last piece you said there, though, the professional development survey. We are going to get feedback on the training and what's their comfort level, do they need more, but we're also asking our teachers, what do you want professional development on? We don't have a ton of extra time, but the time we do have, we do want to be able to provide training that the teachers want or feel that they need or that they're interested in. And I do appreciate us having a more collaborative effort with our IU and other districts. The other thing that we are looking at, and I just want to bring it up here tonight, is that the IU is looking for teams from school districts. They're going to have an AI engagement series. They tell us the members that they want, and it's to explore AI's potential for teaching, learning, and operations, and to co-develop actionable strategies for responsible, equitable implementation, and to help our kids get the curriculum they need for the jobs that they're gonna see, they're saying in 2030, which I think sounds far away, but really isn't. So they are looking for districts to participate. I would like our district to participate with the others that are in our IU, because I think that AI is exploding faster than any of us can keep up with, and I don't want our kids to be behind. And as we talk about the STEM area at the high school and all the different things that we could be doing, so I would like to get a team together to go to participate, and they meet 5 times throughout the year. Some are in person at the IU and some are virtually. So just wanted to talk about that as well.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions to do with the update? Okay, moving on to Bears Academy.
Hopefully I got it figured out. What time is first? Awesome. I'm gonna turn it on, I'm not sure it's working.
How are you?
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us, school board directors, Dr. Conrad, community. For approximately 6 months, we've been hearing about doing a presentation about PVBA, specifically inquiring about a 5-year plan, some data, just some more information about who we are. In the past, we've given you state of PVBA reports, we've given you some data. In this, we wanted to tunnel it a little bit more towards those last points, which is going to be that current data piece, possibly some good things happening, and then also that 5-year plan. When we did this, and it was brought to me that we were going to be doing this, I did ask Ms. Leibenguth if she would mind joining me. She is the school counselor for PVBA. She is volunteering her time here tonight, which I truly appreciate, but I thought that having a different lens and perspective other than my own, which is certainly administrative and probably a little bit biased, wouldn't be a bad thing for the board and the community. So just real quick rehash the agenda. I promise we are not going to read every slide at you tonight, because otherwise we'll be here until midnight. Instead, we did put up a lot of information, so when we share the slide deck with you, you will be able to read it in more detail if you want to.
So I wanted to start with what PVBA is as a program. As you guys know, I'm the K-12 school counselor for the cyber program. PVBA is our district's virtual learning program. It's designed to offer students a flexible and very personalized approach to learning that supports a lot of different learning styles, life circumstances, and academic needs. We serve students K through 12. We have our own cyber programs for K through 5 through Imagine Learning, and 6 through 12 goes through Edgenuity. We offer credit recovery opportunities, enrichment, full-time enrollment, and we also offer an asynchronous learning style, which is very attractive to most students in our program. At PVBA, we are a close-knit team that does strive to help students thrive in an online setting. We ultimately want what's best for the student, whatever is going to help them reach their goals and their graduation goals as well. Who we are, we have Jason Van Voorhis, who you know, he's our PVBA principal and director of tech. Then there's myself, Ariana Leibenguth. I call myself Miss L. Usually pretty hard to pronounce my last name, so I just make it easy for kids. Like I said, I'm the K-12 PVBA school counselor. I do offer mostly academic counseling, but I also provide brief solution-focused counseling for social emotional needs. Then we have Mr. Michael Birnbaum. He is PVBA's special education teacher, so he supports kids with IEPs in the cyber setting and provides online learning support sessions. And then we have Mr. Trevor Kresge, our K through 5 PVBA teacher, who does lead daily virtual sessions for K through 5 cyber students, as well as creating a consistent engagement routine for kids at home.
So one of the purposes of PVBA and what makes us different than some of the outside cybers is the idea of curriculum alignment, right? So we do utilize Edgenuity and Imagine Learning as our learning platforms. We selected them simply because they are aligned with the state standards. They are specifically designed to make sure we are covering the skills and rigor necessary to be successful in Pennsylvania. Some platforms are national platforms and therefore only cover national standards. This is catered to us. Additionally, we work with Seneca Valley very closely to make sure that our courses, to the best of our ability, align with what's happening within the brick and mortar. Good example of this is if we're teaching fiction first quarter in 6th grade,
then we want to make sure that our PDBA, to the best of our ability, is also teaching fiction. So if we do have a student who goes back and forth, it's more of a seamless transition to make sure that we're nurturing those skills. A really important fact with our curriculum alignment is PDBA is a rigorous program. It is a cyber platform, but we're extremely rigorous. We demand the same exact graduation requirements, attendance routines, all of that our brick and mortar students receive at the high school. So just to highlight K through 5 a little bit more, I know I talked about Imagine Learning as our platform. Thank you, Board of Educators, for letting us get that platform. We moved over from Compass last year, if you remember, to this new platform because of curriculum alignment. This is a much more rigorous and in-depth platform than what we were using in the past. Mr. Kresge and his students have a lot to do. I think I've played videos before of the students playing recorders online to Mr. Kresge. We've shown pictures of science experiments where students are playing with ketchup in their kitchen, with parents' help, of course, to do experiments. They have to do handwriting and take pictures of it. They actually have to use scissors and take pictures of it. So it's not just keyboard and mouse all the time, especially for our youngest learners. Knowing that K through 5 is a much more demanding platform, we also allow Mr. Kresge, he provides those live instructional lessons every single day. So maybe Monday through Friday is grades K, 3, and 5, maybe Tuesday, Thursday, and grades 2 and 4, and that mixes up to make sure students are actually receiving live feedback, live reading instruction. This is all done through Google Meet, but we also allow students to come in if they need. So we are actually providing some sort of personal touch for these students. On an everyday basis, they log in. This is what their experience looks like. They have a dashboard. They go in. You can see all the blue dots up there underneath the dates. A little hard to see, but you can slide that, you'll see them better. That's actually giving the students what they need to do for that day. So the parents, as an educational coach, can see exactly what's expected of them. And then Mr. Kresge on his side can monitor those students' progress. If I log into Imagine Learning, I get a dashboard. I get to see of all of our students. What's our progress look like? Are any students falling behind? It gives me early warning detection. I can see a red student saying, whoa, what's happening here? He's falling behind, not logging in. And we contact them immediately. So there's also accountability.
That's daily metrics you rated?
Daily metrics. Yep, as a matter of fact, they're live metrics. While those dashboards may be daily, I can go in and see live exactly what students are doing. So it's a very powerful tool.
And then I'd like to talk about grades 6 through 12. So we do our work through the Edgenuity platform, which is kind of similar to a Google Classroom type platform. All of our courses are added by me, and then they're loaded by the third party, which is Seneca Valley. Seneca Valley School District is our partner school district, and they actually are the teachers grading the students' work through Edgenuity. So they are certified, they are qualified teachers. They also have live office hours with which students can actually attend to get an extra layer of support in a cyber setting. So although we are asynchronous, I think it's important to note that there are a lot of supports available for students in cyber. So for instance, grades 6 through 8 coursework is more streamlined. They kind of have the same electives, same core classes, but in grades 9 through 12, students have a lot of more flexibility in choosing their electives, advanced options, and even credit recovery courses for previously failed courses.
But when you said meet with their counselor, who's their, so they all have you?
Yes, essentially, yeah.
As soon as a student registers for PDBA or they choose to make that decision, the way we actually identify who their case manager is, once they register for PDBA, the counselor of record actually shifts over to Ms. L. As soon as a student gives us indication they want to shift back to brick and mortar, it goes back to their appropriate counselor to do their schedule. And then Ms. L and those counselors do communicate to make sure that all that educational information, sometimes there may be other information that we need to provide to make sure those students are receiving the correct services, the right accommodations, whatever. That communication happens within the building during meeting time.
Yeah, there's a lot of collaboration on my end with other counselors with other buildings, so it's kind of nice to be in my role because I get to talk to everybody.
Are there any wait times for students? Do you find where there are multiple students who want access to you?
No,
And
we
they
really
can't get
don't
to you?
find that. So I actually have an open Google booking calendar. I found out a way to add 3 different calendars to my main calendar, so students can actually choose whether they want to book an in-person meeting, a video chat meeting.
Do they have to schedule it ahead? It's not,
Yes.
It depends. We prefer if they schedule, if it's an emergency and they say, can you call us right away?
So we do, yeah.
One of us are gonna make sure we contact them right away, just like.
yeah, my concern is if someone has an urgent question and they can't access somebody, or are we servicing them at?
We had that happen last week, actually, where she was already booked, she was in a meeting, and she literally sent me a text message saying, hey, can you contact this parent right away? There's an urgent thing going on. So of course, even though we were a small team, we utilize each other to make sure that we're
And
accommodating.
we help
those
each
parents.
other out, of
Yeah.
course, so. I have, an email that I'm usually very good at answering as well. So I will quickly answer emails as I can. If students want me to call them or make last minute appointments, if I don't have time slots available on the booking page, I will work with them as well.
So one of the big things that we noticed when I took over the cyber program in this case was attendance, and it was kind of falling through the gaps a little bit. We realized that a lot of students, I don't want to say all, I'm not going to generalize too much here, but there were quite a few students who were coming to PVBA or other cyber institutions basically to avoid attendance issues. We were noticing that if a student started getting letters saying, hey, you're truant, they would hop ship real quick to a cyber school, whether it be us or a charter school, to avoid those truancy charges. We talked about accountability and the idea of accountability actually being support. We believe that to be the case with attendance. When students come to PVBA, their attendance follows them. So if they received any kind of attendance issues within the brick and mortar, we pick up right where they left off. So last year, I did hold quite a few SAIP meetings, and I did go to court, unfortunately, for quite a few families. The good news is that through our record keeping and our data, we were able to hold those families appropriately accountable while supporting them as well and making sure that our attendance rates actually did improve. And I think that's going to show later on.
I want to talk a little bit about how PVBA supports students. So this is kind of what I was talking to you about, Mr. Berger. So first off, Seneca Valley teachers do have live office hours, and that's a screenshot of some of the live office hours from last year that's since been updated for this year. But students essentially can identify what teacher they have and on what night of the week are they free to sit in the Zoom session. They can join whenever. Typically, we do recommend they shoot their emails a quick, shoot their teachers a quick email to let them know that they're going to join the session, but that is available, and the teachers are usually more than willing to work with students, especially if those times don't work for them. They also have varsity tutor. If they are a student with an IEP, they have live learning support. If they are a K-5 student, they have access to Mr. Kresge with live sessions there. They have the school counselor and administration were accessible, very accessible, I would say. And then my Google booking calendar, again, students can request to meet in person. They can request for me to call them. They can request for me to video chat with them. And parents can use that booking link as well. It's sent out every week in the weekly growl. And usually every time I send out mass emails, I also try to stick the link in there too, just in case. We've also seen an uptick in in-person meetings, requests for in-person meetings. For our senior meetings, I had about 6 so far this year, which compared to last year is a considerable uptick. I think that kind of shows engagement or increased engagement. But to tie it all together, I think there's multiple ways for students to communicate with PVBA staff and their teachers online.
There's a lot of, I saw you have a lot of evening hours for Seneca Valley.
Mm-hmm.
What does Mr. Kresge or what's our teacher hours usually? Are they evening hours too, or are they just during the regular school day?
So Mr. Kresge being K-5, he has set teaching times. So at the beginning of the year, he actually sends a letter out to the families that are registered for K-5 or as they enroll. We recently had an enrollment for medical purposes. And we provide them with a welcome letter, and it tells them exactly when their live sessions are. It's treated almost like math class happens at 9 o'clock on this day. So for our live sessions, we actually do that by grade level to make sure that they're with an appropriate peer group, to make sure that they're also working on the correct standards. Again, we want to make sure that our curriculum is our first focus and the education is primary. So for Mr. Kresge, as a PV employee dedicated to PVBA, it is during normal teaching hours. Same thing for learning support sessions for Mr. Birnbaum, normal hours apply. Booking with Ms. Leidenguth, normal hours apply. Seneca Valley, the way they work it, most of these teachers, what they call OPT teachers, it's done as a stipend. It's an extracurricular for them essentially. Instead of coaching, they're teaching mathematics. So a math teacher has the opportunity to teach math outside of school. We'll talk more about that later potentially. But because of that, their hours are meant to be outside of the normal day.
Yeah,
One
you saw
question.
their hours, I didn't see ours.
Varsity tutor, is that a program that we run?
It's actually a state program. Well, it's a program that is being sponsored by the state. Am I saying that correctly, for people? Yes.
Yes.
It's a program being sponsored by the state that's available to all Pleasant Valley students. And because our students are PV students, they also have the accessibility to use that. So if these hours do not work for them and it's a core class, they can always log on to Varsity Tutor using their Pleasant Valley credentials, and it would be a free service live tutoring for them.
And maybe I was thinking it was a peer-to-peer tutor. So where if you have a student who's excelling, they can take as a.
As of right now, no.
No, they actually, you can also, like, our students, you can go and go get SAT tutoring and stuff like that too.
And we have that set, we actually have that set up, if you're interested, that is only available after school hours. So like, if you try to log in from our domain to do that, you're not going to be able to, so we want to make sure students are using their teachers first. But after school hours, once they're outside of our domain, they'll be able to use that. Okay. Sorry, I'm bridging technology a little bit there too. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I'm like, oh no, I broke it.
I think another important thing to highlight is how we keep parents connected in an asynchronous platform. Oftentimes, students do go home, and I think the main concern with a lot of parents is the lack of support at home. So we do have a couple ways to keep parents in the know and informed. First off is daily progress reports. So when a student is actually enrolled, we set the parent up to receive daily progress reports to their email address. So it will actually send the parent a screenshot in real time of how their student is doing in the class. And it will show things such as completion, the grade, the start and end dates, how far behind they are, if they are behind, or if they're ahead, how far ahead they are. So that's really helpful to know. And I always tell parents, if you have trouble deciphering a progress report, just email me or call me and I will be happy to explain it to you. I also did put together a big packet at the start of this year to try and mitigate some of that confusion, because I found that last year we didn't really have anything like that. So parents were often very confused at what they were seeing on the progress reports. How do I read this? There's 3 grades here. So that's a screenshot of what's actually in my packet. How does grading work? So that's where I like break down each grade, what it means and how to decipher that. What does this mean for my student? Parents also have access to grades and pacing via the family portal and Ingenuity. That's just another layer. And then they also can access student schedules, report cards, same as they do in PowerSchool. Another thing I do want to highlight is the weekly growl. So that goes out again every Friday. That has a bunch of district-wide information, K-12. So it has my booking calendars that go out. It has Mr. Birnbaum's information, Mr. Kresge's information, Mr. Van Voorhees' information, that any community events that might be happening that students might be willing to go to. Because at the end of the day, we do want to emphasize that PVBA students are still PV students. And they are still very much welcome to come to events like prom and football games, etc. So I think that's one of the best parts about our program is we do still try really hard to include those students.
Keep stats on that, like how many are actually taking advantage of that?
A lot of it we don't, because a lot of that is just as we don't, I mean, I guess I could if I worked with, Krasinski and been like, hey, how many PVBA students went to the football game and stuff like that? Ideally for us, the way I see it is the weekly growl is a way that we can provide the information to a community member.
Right.
If they choose to take it, I hope they do, but ultimately it's on them.
It's like any
So-
student, but I was just wondering.
Yeah, so like school dances though, PTO events, graduation information, scholarship information, we'll throw all that on the weekly growl to give someone a one-stop shop. And it will be K-5, so it'll be broken up, PVE's events, PVI. Mr. Kresge, he will do the field trips with the elementary school and the intermediate school. And our students are invited to that. If they want to go, they're welcome to. So again, it's really cool opportunities. So again, I think we've hit a bunch of the benefits already, so I'm not going to read this to you, but you get the idea. We try our best to create the best option, cyber option available for our students, and we really do encourage them to stay a part of PBSD. So some of the data real quick. These are the dashboards. I love my dashboards. I actually broke my dashboard today, so these are a little bit old. But the 23-24 dashboard's up there, 24-25. I actually took this dashboard. This is kind of fun. This dashboard, you can see the enrollment was 103. I believe I pulled that at the beginning of August. Okay. Now, granted, we've been pushing our community and our students since, March of last year to let us know what they're going to be doing to enroll them. As of today, last I checked, we were at 199. So between the beginning of August until now, our enrollment is now 199. We're right on pace for where we were last year.
So just to kind of give you an idea about where we are. My dashboard also shows us how many MCTI students we have, and it also shows us by grade level and also percentage of students with IEPs or other possible accommodations that we may need.
Here's a quick question.
Yes.
Is the distribution pretty much the same by grade as it was last year?
If you take a look up here, you can see that this is the first year. The top bar is going to be 12th grade all the way down to kindergarten. This was last year's 12th grade all the way down to kindergarten. And this is this year's right now, 12th grade down to kindergarten. So 12th grade does seem to be a little bit more. I'm not overly surprised by that. There's a lot of reasons for that. Students are getting older. We have a higher population of MCTI students that are doing both MCTI and cyber. For them, that extra added flexibility of being able to either get a secondary job or something is there.
They didn't get any parking?
It could possibly have to do with parking a little bit. Maybe there's a couple of really miserly students that really want to park. Maybe they'll come back when that lot opens up. We'll try to encourage that. But again, it's something where the last thing I will say that I'm seeing with seniors is we are seeing an influx of students who are credit deficient, who are more likely to join PVBA because of the opportunity of possibly taking more credits than what's normally allowed in brick and mortar. So in brick and mortar, standard credit load is 7, right? That's what you get for your year of schooling. Whereas PVBA, because it's asynchronous, because there's no real timeline on when you can work on it, we have the ability potentially to unlock more courses for them to get them back on track. So again, seniors on my spreadsheet may not be just seniors. It could also be super seniors, as I like to call them, students who are returning. Instead of going back to brick and mortar for the 3 days they need to graduate, they're part of our program, right? And I think that's actually kind of healthy to give them that opportunity to finish off those courses, potentially even by December, and be done, graduate, right? Okay.
Are there people in that senior bucket that are seniors here that are taking extra classes there?
Not in this bucket, no.
Not in that bucket.
No, and realistically, the only ones that we have that are doing that right now are credit recovery cases. So seniors, we do have we do have like 1 German class as well that we're kind of grandfathering out. We allow them to take German too. I think we have like
12 kids in the class.
yeah, it's not many, but we felt bad not offering a second level for those students. But every other student that's up there is going to be single course requests. I think we have 2 right now that are going through NCAA reasons that they would have to take an extra course to get NCAA accreditation that the school district is working with them on. And then we have probably 4 right now that are still brick and mortar students that are taking like credit recovery class or an additional class so they can get back on track.
So 199 seems like a lot.
199 total students K through 12. That also includes part-time students. So I think it was 172 full-time.
So okay,
Sorry, just.
so you have 4 people managing that.
Yes.
Where's the breaking point? Like what's, I'm sure your data tells you at what point in time do I need to add on additional staffing to help support this to not see a decrease in what you're providing in education to your student? So what's that bubble? When do we have to start expanding or?
I think when we get to the 5-year plan, we can come back to this if you're okay with that. And if I don't address it, let me know. Okay.
Tying into that, Tuesday morning math with Trevor, how many kids is he interacting with in that classroom?
It depends on the grade level. It depends on the grade
4,
level.
5, 20?
No,
Give me a
probably 2 to 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because again, Trevor's actually breaking his classes apart by grade level as well. There's a reason why we don't offer all grade levels every day. That's how we actually split that up to make sure that load was manageable.
This is my credit tracking for seniors. So up on the screen is a screenshot of my crazy little senior spreadsheet that I was making last year. So when you graduate from Pleasant Valley High School, there's a ton of different factors that you have to consider. When a senior is up for eligibility, you have to consider academic factors. So a minimum of 24 credits, and of those 24 credits, you have to have 4 math, 3 science, 3 social studies, and of those 3 sciences, you need 2 of them to be bio and chem. So there's a lot of academic requirements. And then beyond that, you have to make sure they take the civics exam. You have to make sure they submit all of their 8 artifacts. You have to make sure that they have a pathway. Have you communicated whether or not they're coming to graduation? What's their cap and gown size? Have you communicated with the parents that they're good to go for graduation? So there's tons of steps, and I created this table last year and I shared it with the entire team just so we could all be on the same page about everything. And I think it's pretty clear that, yeah, the student name, any accommodations they might have, and what they have across the board. Are they good to go? If they're good to go, they're in green. So last year we had 62 full-time seniors, and we had an additional 27 seniors that were MCTI students that were also in the PB program. And of the students who did not graduate last year, most were already credit deficient when they came into PVBA. So while they had a successful school year in PVBA, it just wasn't enough to cover the full amount of credits needed ultimately to graduate.
So in celebration one, I have to give Ms. L tons of credit for this spreadsheet. I'm not gonna lie, I actually typed to her evaluation. I said, hey, when she first started, she didn't know what she was getting into. I said, your goal for your SPM, your SLO, whatever you wanna call it, is gonna be verifying that every single senior is tracked from start to finish. She said, new guidance. So she's like, yeah, absolutely. And then she started thinking, she's like, this is gonna be a bear. I'm like, uh-huh. But she stepped up to it, and therefore, not because it was tied to her evaluation, but she genuinely does care about her seniors and her kids, and she did a fantastic job. Due to the team, I'm thrilled to kind of announce or say here publicly, the PVBA graduation rate, even including those super seniors who were credit deficient coming in, was 89% last year. Considering the state average for even brick and mortar schools was 87%, we actually were above the state average for graduation rate in our cyber program, and that's something huge to celebrate. To put that in comparison with other cyber schools, for instance, CCA's graduation rate was a reported 64%. PA Cyber Charter was reported 61%. Insight PA Cyber was a reported 68%. I'm going to go back and say that we require 24 credits to graduate. We have a high level of rigor. We have a high level of expectation in PVBA. Some of those schools only require 21 credits. So even though we were demanding and showing the support and holding these students accountable and dragging some of them along, that work pays off, and that's what we wanted to show. Additionally, this is a huge shout out to Mr. Birnbaum. He's been doing a killer job in the IEP land and special education land of PVBA. For the second year in a row, 100% of the students who are senior eligible, again, not credit deficient seniors, they came to us, that was a little different, but the students who were actually in senior standing coming in that had IEPs graduated with their cohort. So you go, that's awesome. So finally, 5-year plan. I'm gonna actually say the 5-year plan for me started last year. And I know that's kind of weird, because it's supposed to be a 5-year plan. I'm like, well, what's going on? Last year, if you remember, I came to the board and said, hey, we really want to try this new learning platform. Would you please let us do it? We have an idea of what we want to do. We want to move special education for this completely in-house. We want to move K-5 completely in-house. And to do that, we wanted to take on this other platform. You guys invested in that. You supported it. We were able to do that. So 2024, we implemented an in-house approach to special education. In 2024, we also investigated and chose the new in-house K-5 option. And that was with Imagine Learning, led by Mr. Kresge. So 2025, actually this is gonna be spring of 2025, so think a little bit back. We began working on redesigning credit recovery. So I worked with Mr. Boylan, the business office, and we were trying to figure out what the best way to do this was. And what we came up with, and Dr. Conrad's guidance on pricing, we came up with a way to do our own in-house summer school through the cyber platform where we broke even. We did not make money. We also did not lose money. We weren't paying anyone out, all right? And we were able to service our community and students did get credit recovery, so that was a success. I think that shows fiscal responsibility. It shows growth. It also shows this kind of baby step approach to this 5-year plan. This is the kind of plan where if we go too quick and we end up in trouble, we're gonna have a real big problem. So I think it's gonna be constantly about let's move a little bit, let's see how it went. Are we good to move on to the next step? By December 2025, we want to form the Cyber School Committee. We believe there's language in the CBA that states there should be a Cyber School Committee. We're actually excited about this prospect and getting more voices on the table. Right there, I'm seeking volunteers. So if any of you are feeling, that you would like to be a part of this, consider this your invitation to join my Cyber Committee. And that would be, we want to have that set by December of 2025. Okay, so that way, as of January 1, we're ready to start rocking and rolling. Yes, you're volunteering.
No. Never mind. I'm just marking a list of questions. I'll ask them all at the end.
So 2026, again, begin investigating in-house credit recovery. So instead of just looking at summertime, our summer school, is there a way that we can actually bring all of our credit recovery to in-house? Right now, we are utilizing Seneca Valley teachers. We are allowing students to join credit recovery classes as soon as we identify they're credit deficient. So as the counselors right now are going through and identifying their transcript reviews and everything, they're saying, oh man, this one's missing a chemistry class, we can give them a credit recovery course, we can put them right in. We're gonna look at options on how we can possibly take that section over with our own staff, with our own teachers. That goes back to the cyber school committee. It would likely, this is gonna absolutely take examining our established working procedures, policies, possibly an MOU with our teachers union to figure out how are we going to provide payment for them. So this is not something that's as easy as like, yeah, let's just do it. No, we actually have to work through this, and there's more than just the educational side. So that would be hopefully springtime. This year we can figure that out to hopefully implement for the 2026, 2027 school year. 2027, again, possibly implementation of in-house K through 8 as well as credit recovery, starting small. We know that our area, there's a lot of people like Pocono Mountain, they have their own program. Why don't we have our own program yet? East Stroudsburg, they have their own program. I called Pocono Mountain, they're currently paying approximately 40 full-time teachers just for their cyber program. All right, that is taking 40 teachers or creating 40 teaching opportunities just to cover their cyber program. We do not have that kind of fiscal luxury here. I do not believe that's our best use of our resources. So instead, we need to think about it a different way. Doesn't mean we can't do it, but we need to be very responsible with how we do it, okay? When we're talking about what's the bubble number right now, that's what we're talking about. I do believe that if we are utilizing possibly this after-school mentality, we can certainly do it with less resources, less teachers, than if we choose to do it as a complete in-house during the day. If we do that, I don't think right now, based on our numbers, we're gonna have to really increase too many teaching positions full-time within PVBA, but we are gonna have to look at that Schedule B stipend contract, okay? As far as what we're doing right now, because we have Seneca Valley as our safety net, we're okay, we're okay. Even if we were to increase our program by another 150 students, we'd still be okay.
At 6 to 12.
Yes, at 6
The
to
higher
12.
level.
At 6 to 12. At K through 5, we keep a very close tabs on the numbers, you know, and they fluctuate, right? That's the thing with our numbers. It's very hard to nail down. How many students are in class right now? I can tell you right now how it is, but that might be different tomorrow or the next day or next month. And chances are in the springtime, all of our numbers are gonna increase. That's just generally what happens.
For your stipend, you talk about stipend position, Dr. Conrad probably answered this one. Did we not have stipends set up for like when they used to do the spring courses and stuff like that? Like we had spring school or we had fall school or something like that. Was there something set up like that?
Yes.
In the supplement, yeah.
Right, so basically this would be just continuation of that.
We did summer school like that this year with our teachers.
Yes,
Yeah.
So it's not reinvent the whole wheel, just basically have.
No, I think it's just looking at the impact and again, just trying to look at the opportunity and differentiating, you know, this is your, you know, contractual 7.5 hours and here's opportunities that extend beyond that day. So, but I think we have a good platform to kind of utilize a baseline from the credit recovery that we implemented last year.
So it's for, I'm sorry, because it's related to one of my questions. So it's for credit recovery that we're talking about that?
This would be strictly for right now. First step one would be to analyze, can we take over all credit recovery in-house?
Because we do it just.
Before we start talking about taking over full-on courses, I think we should be starting with those ideas. Credit recovery courses are truncated. They're approximately 30 hours, right? That, when we're talking about stipend position, is a much more reasonable ask for our teachers than you're gonna be teaching 4-quarter class and facilitating that learning. So again, if we're gonna be looking at data and talking to those teachers, what does this load look like, what does the responsibility look like, then we can make more informed decisions moving forward about the bigger scope of taking over bigger chunks.
One thing I just wanted to add too is the teacher certification is also a really big driver in this discussion and henceforth why we're able to look at this at a middle school level because typically those certifications kind of are a little bit expansive. The problem being, however, in some of the secondary certifications, they're very unique and specific. So what would be, you know, a typical science class isn't covered by the span of what's science taught in 9 through 12. It has to be specific to biology, chemistry, physics. So that's where we're going to have some discussions and look at the net impact on, you know, how many individuals we would have to have and then how many students would be taking those specific courses.
And if we don't have those enough, like let's say we don't have enough of those at the middle school and our high school doesn't have, and they are science, but they're not specific to that area. Is this a job maybe for emergency certifying them in order to cover that? Or is that just not working in that situation?
I'm sure it's gonna be open for discussion. I don't know the answer to that.
Just-
Yeah, and especially just, and I think there's some, if that teacher's maybe exploring to take the test, or they've taken the test and that's kind of the carrot to like, I want to get this cert, but in the meantime, we could look at that as part of it. And I think that's a good point, John, because I think, we're talking about making sure that not only do they have the right credentials to be able to teach the course, but it's also the opportunity to say, hey, I'm a mid-level, middle school teacher, but I'm interested in getting my biology certification, so maybe this is a step in that direction. So yeah, definitely something to explore.
Just to point out again, 2027, we talk about the possible implementation of in-house K-8. If you think back to my charts, it was kind of like that quadratic formula curve, right? It wasn't linear. You could see that it was 12 and 11. Our middle school population is a much more reasonable number to be looking at this for possibly one person to do grades 6 through 8 English, and they could cover all the students within that course. So even now, we're using the data that we've collected over 3 years to start thinking about our future and how we can move forward. 2028, gather data and feedback from faculty, period. If we were to actually implement it across our middle school, if we took over credit recovery, are we in a good spot? What does this look like? Are teachers feeling supported enough that we can even broach the topic of bringing this into our high school? All right. If everything's going well, if the committee's saying yes, if we're saying yes, the board is all on board with it, we can look at that. And what I'd actually recommend is exploring expanding if we did this, but maintaining a good relationship with Seneca Valley. I've already had communications with Dr. Manganiello, who is out in Seneca Valley, that is the leader of their program. And I already have confirmation that if we chose to move forward with something like this, even at the 6 through 8 level, let's say we don't have a social certified teacher, but we have a math, English, and science teacher who are willing to do it, we could still utilize a Seneca Valley teacher for that one subject. Now we're paying for one subject, not 4 subjects. So, I mean, maintaining that relationship with them, if we chose to go to high school, a teacher starts with us and says, man, this is for the birds, I don't like it anymore. What am I doing with those students? I can call Seneca Valley up and say, hey, do you have space for this many students? Not that you want to think about that, but as an administrator, we have to think about that. So again, making sure we have those safety nets, those good relationships. I think it's a possibility. Certainly, I want to collect a lot more data. And again, this is a 5-year plan. I am not committing that this is going to stay concrete. And I think that throughout all of it, if we're being responsible, the team's going to continue looking at our data as it comes in, talking with the people who are within this, and making decisions appropriately.
Quick question.
Good. Questions?
In the science arena, you'd obviously have some limitations relative to like lab activities.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you account for that?
So, I mean, unfortunately, the reality is they do virtual labs. The labs are either pre-recorded. In some cases, they may recommend that a student does the lab on their own and reports the results. But in most cases, it's like a video of the lab. That's not ideal. And if you remember at the beginning, I said we were hoping to provide the best cyber education. The science is one of those courses where I do feel the best opportunity is for a student to come in and actually do it. But if the family's choosing this modality of education, then we're going to provide that to them the best way we can.
This is kind of a little out there question. Should we be looking, not in the next 5 years, but maybe in the next 10 years, of finding some way where they could come in at a particular time and use our labs and provide a capability for them to be able to complete that portion, which and some of these students probably may have special needs, so that would have to be taken into consideration as well. But some of these students probably want to go on to college, right?
Yep.
So they're going to need these kinds of courses, and we don't want to send them off to college with an incomplete set of experiences, and the knowledge level doesn't meet the standard to get into college.
100% agree. And I mean, that's the kind of suggestions and thoughts that I'm hoping joins our committee for December. So Mr. Berger, if you're interested, I'll sign you up as well. But in all honesty, one of the reasons when we designed the PBA space, as we
Don't
designed
open your mouth, anybody.
as we designed the PBA space in the high school, one of the things that was like a vision of my own and my team was to have that flex space. Ms. Kreski actually pointed out earlier, saying that flex space is exactly that. My hope is that we can utilize that space to bring students in, either do labs, have students who are maybe struggling, invite them in, sit with a teacher, right? Like, we want to be able to do that stuff. It's going to be, how are we structuring our program? Is it going to be after school? Is it during school? Do we run labs after school? Is it stipend? Like, these are all questions that I think 5 years out, we can work through.
Well, another alternative is to think about your alternate program and make the labs perhaps for students that would graduate, that they graduate in the summer, being able to use our facilities in the summer to come in when there's no demand on those resources.
Again, all options.
Options, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, she got her hand up.
I have 4 questions. And I think maybe one of your bullets there, maybe it was your last bullet. So we're looking at some point, exploring the option of offering our teachers the stipend to be the teacher of record and the ones offering office hours
Correct.
after normal school hours
Yes.
in lieu of
So-
Seneca. Okay, so we are looking at that somewhere in the plan, right?
Yes, the very last bullet point is all the way K through 12, us owning and facilitating, managing our entire program. But again, I highly recommend keeping a school like Seneca Valley. Because if we only have 4 faculty members.
We wanna
doing
keep
this
them warm.
full time, we gotta
wanna
keep
keep them warm.
We'll
I got
keep sending them cookies at Christmas time. But again, we did this with our summer school. It was our teachers who were the teacher of records, who were holding the office hours, who were grading the work, who were providing the feedback. We've already done this. It's just gonna be, how can we keep on expanding that without moving so quick that we have gaps?
That's where the 2026 is,
Okay.
we talk about the recovery.
Not just summer, that would be spring school and winter school. Now, that would change a little bit probably, but yes.
Okay, my second question, students that are coming in, how many of them are coming in from our brick and mortar versus how many are coming in from other cyber?
Sorry, I might be busy.
I can't read that.
I'm not expecting you, don't
Okay.
worry. Because I can't read it either right now. Which one is it? It's this one up here. All right, so up here, and I think that's that one. I can't read my own work, I'm sorry. One of those graphs, when you actually have the access to it, it'll show you exactly where those students are coming from, what the percentage is. The vast majority of our students are either coming from our own PVBA or our brick and mortar. And that's traditionally, if you look at all those graphs, that bottom right graph is the same for all of them. You will see that it again is our own brick and mortar and our own cyber school. Now, last year, we did send approximately 55 students back to brick and mortar from cyber. So like, it is kind of an in and out process.
I think she means outside charters, like.
Right, like, are we getting any from
We're
any
getting
outside
back.
charters?
We did actually receive a few this year from outside charters.
Because of the quality of learning is what was communicated to us that they previously received in comparison to what they heard we provide.
Yeah.
So there was a transition.
Another big draw, I think, too, is they want to come and they want to walk at graduation
Yeah,
here.
keep
So they
going.
want to come back to PV, they want to be able to go to prom and do all of those things. Where at outside cyber charters, you don't really have that opportunity. So I saw a huge uptick in a lot of seniors wanting to come back so they could walk on the PV stage.
Is there a date when they have to be back?
We do not allow students to come back fourth quarter. We will take them at the beginning of second semester. We do allow internal students to switch if they absolutely have to for emergency reasons. But typically, especially for our seniors, we aren't doing this back and forth thing. You know, we really do try to limit it because it interrupts the educational process. So we do our best to discourage that movement.
Okay, my third question is the committee. That wasn't a volunteer, that was a question about the committee. The purpose of the committee, again?
Oh, sorry. The purpose of the committee is going to be to essentially start talking about the direction of the program. I think it's going to be open to I believe, And I'm gonna have to read that CBA very carefully when it becomes available to me. But the way I'm reading it right now is we're gonna have a round table, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk about what we're currently doing and what we as a district, all constituents, all stakeholders, right? Yes, I am the principal of the program, that doesn't mean it's my program. So therefore, where do we want it to go? What are your recommendations, what are your suggestions? Do we do labs here? Are we doing it as a stipend position? Is the teachers union interested in this? Do they want it to look a different way? So I think there's a lot to have a conversation about. It's just gonna be getting the right people around that table who can have that open dialogue.
And does that include, because I didn't see this on there, which is why I asked about the purpose. You know, I'm thinking about parents of students that are in PV Bears Academy having a voice, and parents of PV students that are in non-PV cyber. I feel like giving you an element of why they're not here and understanding. Not only that, but maybe some things that are working there that we're maybe not thinking about here.
Yes, I love that. So thank you for that suggestion. Again, another great suggestion for someone who would volunteer for this.
Committed.
Yeah.
You're really setting yourself up.
My
That's
next
what I was
job,
gonna say.
yeah. My
No,
next
but
job
that's
is gonna be a
a great
mobile chemistry lab.
I mean, I know that when I try to reach out to parents of outside cyber attendees and their families, the response rate is very low. Most of them will not answer the phone. I tried to trick them by using my cell phone, and it worked a couple times, but I think they caught on to that too. So, but yes, I think it's good to include that as stakeholders. And
Yeah,
students, quite
It's
honestly.
an interesting discussion you and I have had several times over those that go to outside cyber. And so once they get to outside cyber, there's reasons that they want to go there.
Yes.
And often it's that they're going for the minimal approach, whereas we want our cyber academy to go for the optimal approach.
Yeah, we've had many conversations about this, and I do believe that, that's accurate.
Yeah.
That a lot of the families who have chosen to leave, and again, not all, some are seeking things that we don't provide. But there are many that, for instance, when they do get accountable for truancy or something like that, I said we still hold them accountable when they come to PVBA. I can't say the same for some of the other programs. So.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to my question slide.
Anyone else?
Any other volunteers?
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for, I know it was long overdue, but I wanted to make sure we got everything. in.
I
So thank you, everyone.
greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'm really
Thank
glad
you.
this is the night I chose to work back.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if we open, is there a lock
So
over
you
there?
hear all the noise.
Oh, there's something going on. Oh, okay, thank you. Didn't think of that. I was thinking, well, maybe we could.
We can all just go like this to the next person.
All right, who's doing item C, which is TSI plan for the middle school and high school?
All right, Briar's gonna kick it off.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
start off here. So as part of education, they have three types of support and improvement plans. There are two that are on the high level, the highest risk, comprehensive support improvement, CSI. And they have an additional targeted support and improvement called ATSI. And they have the lowest, which is the targeted support improvement, TSI. So that is the plan that both our middle school and high school are on. And our TSI plan is designated around one of the subgroups of students with disabilities. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McCutcheon, who's going to explain the TSI plan for the middle school, and then over to Mr. Boylan for the high school.
Good evening. I'm proud to present our TSI plan. I wish we weren't on TSI, but I am proud to present it because I think it's a comprehensive plan that will help address learning needs of all of our students. The middle school is on TSI for the indicator of students with disabilities, and we were flagged for achievement and growth in both math and ELA, regular attendance, and career standards and benchmarks. If I could summarize what the plan is, in a few words, it would be a cycle of reflection on data and implementation of best practices. And in fact, we've already started that because we've conducted our NWEA training. I've been working with Christine and her team, Roberta, and we've already designed and have a plan for WIN groups for students with special needs. So a lot of the work is already happening. Tomorrow, another big chunk of it will happen when teachers dive into our beginning of the year NWEA data. So I'm going to combine math and ELA because the goal and plan for that is essentially the same and follows the same cycle. In order to address low proficiency rates in both math and ELA, we're going to leverage our curriculum. We have the new HMH resource to help with our ELA instruction. It really is going to be, the plan comes down to data-driven instruction and looking at our data, and honoring, I'll steal Ms. Fierro's words, honoring the children in front of us, who is present in the classroom and what do they need? And looking at that data from NWEA, Ames-Blend progress monitoring, collaboration between ELA teachers and special education teachers to design effective small group instruction in the classroom. Then looking at what is it that they need that they may not get in the classroom that we can provide WIN. And the second part of that cycle is as we implement mid-year tests, end-of-year tests, looking at that data and revising groups, revising instructional plans to address what it is that the students need. The goal is to hopefully see growth from beginning to middle. And when we get that middle of year data, not just staying the course and saying, all right, we're going to continue doing the same thing, looking at that data to see what do they need now to get them to the next step. And it would be that cycle for math and ELA. To specifically provide supports for students with disability as a whole, it's really leaning into the MTSS process and looking at our data to find out what is it that kids may need that we can provide additionally, the second layer. So the first part is what is it that we can do for everyone to address learning needs. This part, in utilizing the MTSS process, is what comes next. So we're providing small group instruction, we're utilizing WIN. If there are students that still aren't meeting success, what's the next step that we can offer for those students? Again, looking at our data, beginning to middle to end, and adjusting as needed. And that, a lot of that work in determining what is it that students need in addition has already started. We have a supplemental learning support classroom, which provides instruction aligned to HMH and what we're doing in math for Read 180 and Math 180. We have a Sunday reading system that addresses decoding, students that may need that. Reading comprehension interventions aligned to HMH, math problem solving, and then the possibility of a learning support period where we can reteach current lessons to maybe the kids who just need a little extra time. We already have students placed in those groups, and those groups have started. We're going to look at our beginning of year data, follow that through, take a look at the middle, and maybe we can move a kid out of decoding and into a different one. But the whole process is designed to what is the data telling us and what can we offer next. And the last piece of the plan to address career readiness and attendance is parent and family engagement. And what I plan to do is form a principals advisory committee to make ourselves available to our parents and families to educate them and provide resources to understand what their needs are for attendance and to provide them with resources on career planning, because we want to support what's happening up at the high school to get them thinking about the paths that they want to take to graduation. And in fact, for many middle school students, a lot of that work is happening because in December, they're going to meet with coordinator from MCTI to start thinking about where am I going to be next year? And in order to be, for those kids that want to be there, that work has to start now. They need to meet success now. So we want to support that and make our families aware that the work for next year doesn't begin in the fall of next year. The work for next year starts now. And we want to make ourselves available as an administrative team and welcome our families in and provide them with resources and information. Another piece for curricular growth would be math and ELA curriculum nights. Part of the feedback that I've heard from families is the way they teach math now isn't the way I learned math when I was in school. So what we want to do is engage our families to show them what is it that we're doing? What is it that the standards demand? How are we instructing our kids in school, and how can you best support that at home? With attendance, today we just had a meeting with Dr. Prater, who is the coordinator for the IU's attendance improvement coordinator, Allison Lopresti-Zuber. We have weekly meetings set up with our attendance secretary, our school counselors, and our coordinator to identify kids that may need that extra support. What is critical about that is there's policy in place to address truancy, and we'll follow that. But I think the real breakthrough is going to come when you make connections with kids and you understand what their barriers are and can effectively address the reasons why they may not be coming to school. And in order to do that, we're going to be leading into our counselors and the attendance improvement coordinator from
So at the high school, special education fell below the accepted performance range of the state. The state identified 4 areas of concern, and it's math, growth and achievement, English, growth and achievement, attendance, and our graduation rate. So looking at the identified focus areas, we were able to get into the Future Ready Index, just look at some of the data to identify some strengths and some challenges. An action plan we have at the high school for my team is to address with the growth and achievement of English and math. We have our MWEA, where our staff are already, they were trained during our opening days. Our students now took math, English, and science. So tomorrow, we're actually going to be able to dig into the data. And so once we dig into the data, then they'll see the benchmark 1. By using this now, we can differentiate instruction in the classroom. And basically, the results are used to adapt instruction. We can drive instruction based on what we're seeing for our students. We also have now for supplemental math and supplemental reading classes, we have a new curriculum, Read 180 and Math 180, where before we didn't really have anything in that classroom. So we're actually excited to see what this is going to do for our students. And one big thing we started last year was between the middle school and the high school was getting a vertical alignment between trying to get at that, bridge the gap between middle school and high school, so that the students in the middle school are prepared for the high school, and it's really just getting the teachers together, because that's never really happened before in the past, and a lot of teachers are excited about that. Another one too is our into literature curriculum for 9th and 10th grade English. That's a way that we can hopefully get the growth and the achievement in English. One big thing too for the attendance rate, we started last year as a Check and Connect program at the high school. Like Mr. McCutcheon was saying before, we have some teachers that volunteer to do this, and what it comes down to is what's preventing a lot of these kids from coming to high school. But just because, again, everybody has their own story coming to school, everyone has their own lives. Lots of students have, I'd say, not the best life at home. And by having something to look forward to, we have a teacher that is able to check in with that student and, in a way, see what barriers are preventing them from coming here, and in a way, they're a mentor, give that student some motivation to actually want to be in schools and want them here. And it's almost like, I don't say a big brother program, but it's giving those students something to look forward to coming to school, and it's been very successful. The teachers that have been doing it do like it, and it's growing in popularity. We also have, like you said before, the liaison for the IU, Allison. She's been coming, we're working with her. And we also have, which started this year, was the Safe Arrival Calls, which is a little bit different than last year, where by doing that, it's more of an increase in communication to our parents, letting them know, because now he's asking, like, are you aware that your child is not here? And they can actually use the number to actually respond to the call. And then the big one here too is the graduation rate. This is all just meshed in together. So by having an action plan for the NWEA, the new curriculums, our attendance, we're trying to get a graduation rate in by mixing all that together.
I got a question on the learning recovery from the middle school and the high school perspective. I know we got some students that aren't meeting what goals we'd like to see? Are we limited by the students not signing up for those programs or by the resources to support those programs?
You mean the after-school program?
For learning recovery, students that have fallen behind and are getting in trouble, we make learning recovery available to them.
We are limited by the number of teachers, so, because if we have, like, I was the building last year, I don't think we had any teachers volunteer to do that after school, so we could not offer it. So we have to, it's posted, it was asked at the last meeting, so that is posted. We are looking for teachers, a counselor, a paraprofessional. Once we see how many people that we have, then we can, we have to know how many spots we can offer to students. So it's
Do we often have more people that want to sign up than we have teachers available?
It's been limited, people that want to sign up.
That was my question.
It's, I find it to be more I don't want to say popular, more people do it as, teachers sign up to be, LOR/tutoring at the elementary level than at our secondary.
But you were referring to the student.
Well, we can't offer it if there's not teachers to.
But what amount of students do need it, right? I mean.
I would say
Are
great
there
number.
students that are not being served? That's my
Well,
question.
because
Who
teachers
wanna
aren't
be served?
That was his question.
Yeah.
And he gave the answer.
Right.
The answer is yes, but there's a statement.
It fluctuates every year. So, NWEA is one indicator, it's not the only indicator we use. We also ask for teacher input on that. That's very important. And then we look at grades. And then by that, we send letters out to parents, letting them know we have this program, what it is. We provide the transportation, we provide the snack. And then if we have teachers, then we can offer to, we say we have 20 teachers, I can send it out to the 100 students, and not all of them take advantage of it. So if 50 take advantage, then we send out to the next, 50 that would benefit, we go from there. And it does change. So you might have somebody there in the first, or the second marking period, and they get their grades up, and then they don't use the program anymore. But the program's identified for students that need help. And sometimes parents want their child to go there after school and they maybe don't need the help, their grades are good. So it's based upon how many teachers and paraprofessionals that we have that sign up to run the program after school. And it's Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Do we need to look at that contract? Is that what's holding us back? Holding someone back from signing up?
I don't know, I mean, it could be.
Yeah, that's a fair question to ask.
So
I would say yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna base it on, the fact that when there's a higher rate of pay, and again, being mindful of that people have to make choices of how they spend their time, and then what's the trade-off? We had greater participation when the rates were at around $55. Since they've dropped down to about 36.
That's significant.
It's a significant drop, which again, and just to be, another layer of this is that, and we said this when we increased the amount, this was through grant dollars. So,
Well, part of my question was that part of their responsibility falls on this side of the table to make sure that we offer enough incentive to make it worthwhile for somebody to give up their time with whatever they wish to do in their family in order to service our students.
Well, we have it posted right now, so we can see what we get, and then.
We have posted the rate, is that what is the rate?
It's the position.
It's a supplemental.
Everything, yeah.
But the rate's on there, the rate's on there.
And the rate is at 36.
It's a supplemental.
Yes, so before ESSER, or before COVID, the rate was whatever, I don't know, I wasn't at Pleasant Valley at that time. Then during COVID, we got the ESSER money, and a large chunk of that ESSER money was for learning
Had to be
recovery.
used for learning
And so
recovery.
we were able to offer these large sums that were sort of unheard of. And when ESSER went away after COVID, we had to come back down. We started with a lower rate last year, and then we did increase it to $36. But that's up to the board and finance.
Yeah, well, it's something we need to work with. on this side.
Yes.
Let's see what happens with the signups and we'll look at it. They'll come back to us with how many have signed up.
All right, thank you.
All right.
So I have, I'm sorry, I have another question.
Sure.
Because in those plans, like we're focused on, part of that is differentiating the learning. How are we gonna use AI to help us do that? Because I heard as part of the AI sales pitch that we're gonna maybe use it for that.
Well, we've offered training, and we will continue to do that. It's one of the options on the survey we're gonna send out. I would also say that at the middle school, Mr. McCutcheon and his team really looked at the schedule, and they allocated time, which I think is another important part for teachers to work together, and they're working as their team, so they can work on those things. They can talk about the students that they service on their team, and the ability to go in and provide support. So you might have 2 math teachers in a class. So I think that his schedule helps a great deal as well. And I also think the time that was made at the beginning of the day at the middle school and the high school, even though it's not a great amount, having that little bit of time where you can at least talk to somebody, I think it's, we have to, all the things we're putting for the kids, but how are we providing time for the teachers to talk and get these plans together, and work with students too is important. So I think we're trying that as well.
And at the high school, we opened up, we had a breakout session for the AI, and we started it last year, where I know that it's a new frontier for a lot of teachers, but a lot of the teachers that dove into it, they got pretty good at it, and then when we did it, those teachers that were good at it started chiming in and getting more buy-in, and so we're gonna be doing another one in the future as we're getting teachers ready to do that in the classroom.
And I will say, as the year went on last year, more teachers did sign up.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to help make it easier for them to, right? I mean, you don't ever take the teacher's review of that differentiation out there, but to help with that work of trying to figure out, how do I differentiate these 50 people, right, that all need to learn this?
Spread the word over that are getting good at that, and so it is catching on.
Okay.
And our new team that's gonna be working with the IU this year.
Just, this is a little bit mine. I just hate seeing kids fall behind. We all hate that. And the help wise, I understand there's more money, but even if there's more money, if we don't get the amount of paddles that we need, is there like a substitute type thing, because it is a supplementary contract? Is that something that we could offer? Because I remember in the past, we had one of our teachers go to another school on a supplementary contract after school to work with their program. And not that we want to do that, but if we're going to open this up and we'll give at least a decent pay for our teachers, then, please, I know they're all going to hate with this, either put up or shut up. If we give you a decent pound, then you either come or else we have to go someplace else, because I'm sorry, my number one concern is our students.
Right. The other thing that we've done is, Mrs. Fulmer and I have talked with ESU, with the education department there, about getting students there that are farther along, that want to come over and help after school. But another barrier there was for transportation for some of them. But we are looking for ways, if we can't fill it, because I get it. I can remember I was a teacher and I had a family, it's a lot after that. We have other things to do. So we are looking at ways of maybe, it is posted, anybody could take the position if they have the correct certification, but we're also looking at those pipelines between East Stroudsburg, and that's because that is a big school for education as well.
I think through this conversation, we can also, as a team, have some further discussions and maybe bring back some strategies and look at, net impact on some decisions that we can maybe propose to you that I think would be palatable, obviously, worthy of people's time. Because again, that people have to make, decisions. But at the same time, I agree with all of you that, we do need to prioritize that need. We just need to have the means to be able to run the programs, because I do think that we have students that would absolutely and have definitely participated in the past, and they benefited from that opportunity. So if you're okay, we can run a few models and then we can just kind of put that out there. Is that okay?
Let's do it. Let's make it quick.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll work on that.
Okay.
That pencil.
Anyone else on the TSI? Okay, Dr. Conrad, are you doing the last item?
Yeah, just the last time. So as you recall, at the last voting meeting, I had announced, some pretty significant progress. So it's like, when we're looking at overall growth, some great things are happening, especially at the high school. Obviously, there's certain targeted areas we want to be intentional with and put some strategies in place. So I'm looking forward to how that's going to always have the net impact on, the overall, I'm sorry, I'll pass this.
Sorry.
The overall, sorry, I was just looking at these numbers. Deviated real quick, I apologize. But we're always looking at the overall, impact of, if we're able to focus in on smaller, isolated areas, then that's going to have a larger impact on greater gains from academic achievement. So we hit a pretty significant milestone, for our district, first time that we hit this. And I think the significance isn't just that, being ranked amongst the top 40% of high schools across the country. But I think what was really remarkable was there was a 30% improvement year over year when you're looking at these rankings, and that's pretty significant. I think we've made some very intentional and strategic decisions that are leading to that. And again, we have great teachers throughout the district and also at the high school that are really working hard to engage our students and give them high level learning. So I thought the proposal for us would then be looking at a way to celebrate that, to acknowledge at a moment in time, here's where we are. Again, it's not the finish line, but it's a milestone in our journey. So there was a couple different options to celebrate that success, and they're listed before you on the agenda. And I just wasn't sure. I was hoping to get some direction from the board, which then can be put on the voting meeting for next month.
No. The information just came around was from me because I took the opportunity when Dr. Conrad sent us that link or that information, that I went on there and I looked up our local schools, and I took all the information directly from the same web page there. And as you look at that, it tells you how we are correlated with the other four. I didn't put East Stroudsburg on it because they were below us, but as you notice on there, PV is fourth in Monroe County with Stroudsburg, and I highlighted or bolded the areas that the other schools were higher in than us. And of the areas, the only one we were high in was our reading. And I understand, like I said, you talk to a coach who's coached for years and stuff like that, and when sometimes your team fell below the expectations, even though they may have came, like, so if our basketball team or volleyball team came from no wins up to 14 wins or something like that, okay, they still didn't place anywhere. And I understand that I can't see putting a banner up that says, oh, guess what, we moved from the bottom up to here, but we're still below everybody else in Monroe County. Like I said, that's just me. I just want everyone to see that. And like I said, this isn't any of my information. This is strictly from the webpage. You can go on there and Google it, and they'll come right up on the US News.
So East Stroudsburg's not on here because of why?
Because they're both lower, both of their high schools.
So we're not the lowest then?
No, we're not the lowest,
Oh,
but
okay.
they went by Monroe County, and they considered north a different.
You meant below us, meaning geographically?
No,
Oh.
I'm saying Monroe County, they consider, when you go on there for Monroe County, they only consider 5 schools in Monroe County. And we're number 4. Out of 5.
They didn't
That's the way
consider
USA
6 high schools?
That's the way USA.
There were 6 high schools though.
Yeah, no, when I looked at the data, it was 6 high schools. So there'd be these 4, okay, you have east, west, north, south, Stroudsburg,
Right,
PV.
okay.
So when I looked at my data, it was a comparison of 6, meaning that we're falling in 4th of 6 within our county. Yes, so.
But regardless, that's not what I'm so confused here.
Yeah, I know.
When you're talking about top 40% of high schools, we're not talking about we're not looking at the statistics for Monroe County.
We're looking at nationwide out of 18.
So it's possible that all 6 of them could be in the top 40%.
Correct, yes. And I'll be frank, I mean, if you actually look at those, you look at county by county, there's a number of schools, high schools, even in Pennsylvania that are in eastern Pennsylvania. Yeah, multiple schools within, let's say Montgomery County, Bucks County. So there's multiple schools on the high end. So yeah, something to consider.
I'm gonna agree to the point where this is definitely not a banner-worthy event, okay? There's a lot of progress needed here. There's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of work we need to do. There always will be a lot of work we need to do. I'm gonna say that. because that's just the expectations we have for our students. However, I do believe in highlighting success, and I believe in motivation. So
Piece of play.
I don't know. I kind of piece of crap.
Costs more than the first one.
I kind of like the idea. I mean, if we're going to set 40% of a standard for starting to show some type of, motivation, having option 1 at 40%, option 2 at 50%, option 3, or maybe tier it some way. But I like the success. I don't think we're banner worthy, but I'm definitely for kind of putting something out there.
Well, we've been focusing the last year on mathematics, which is, if you look, what he handed out focused primarily on the reading side of it, but in the math side, we're not doing well. And so we are focusing this, which we did this past year, on improving the math, and we are moving up in math, but we still have a long road to go to get even with our peers in Monroe County in the math category. And then the math category affects our score in the college readiness category because we fall below on that. So
Well,
for our members out there, who our leadership at the middle and high school, we got to keep pushing on the math side of it in order to get that college part up as well.
Can I'm sorry.
We are doing the right thing, so I'm proud of what you're doing. We have a lot of work to do.
No, your time is up.
That time's up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wanna understand what I'm looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
What is state assessment performance rate? Like, what do we mean there?
He did the reading. Here's the math.
So there's a number and then a percentage. What does that number?
All
and
right,
then
like it says 220, and then at the bottom, that's state that's out of 741 schools. So anything that was national, they listed that there were 17,901 schools they looked at national. In Pennsylvania, they looked at 741 of those schools. So it's giving you the numbers.
Right, so we're 220 out of 741.
And again, just like you said before, this is something that we like, that we're seeing this, and I understand what Dr. Conrad's put into, and our department's put in a lot into trying to get more AP testing and stuff like that, which is great. It's just we can't fall complacent. I just can't see a banner, only because I need you to strive for something, not me. I think we need everyone to keep striving, and say, yes, this is great, we're doing, we're heading in the right direction. Well, let's put some more into it, because we need to get up here high. We can't say, oh, phew, well, we got a banner for this. No. Our kids are what we need to see. I mean, that's just where I'm coming from. I don't, like I said, I understand at 30%, that's great, but why are we so far with 30% below? Is more of my question than, and this only goes back as far as 2007, because I know back in the late 1990s, Pleasant Valley High School was one of the biggest areas, and the elementary school was one of the biggest areas that local schools came to look at on how programs were being run, because we were so successful in everything that was being done. I mean, the scores were really up there. And unfortunately, there is no data from that unless you go back and look into our school data. But I know I was a teacher then, and I don't know if there's any high school teachers that were here then. I know there's high school students that were here then, like Ms. Adams.
So for perspective, ACES Tucson North is #1 in the nation. They have 230 kids, I believe, in their high school. Okay, they're a charter school, and they have high percentages. But I just wanted the board to be aware that it's not like they have platinum tier and we're kind of like consolation prize tier. The badge that this school would ultimately get to just acknowledge their success is the same that we would be getting, because it's the top 40% ranking. So there's not different colored, designations or anything like that. So I'm, again, just putting it out there that, I think you have to look at the bigger picture, right? So yes, within Monroe County, yes, within certain county, but, to compare approximately 18,000 and being, again, I understand we're not saying we've arrived. That's not what this is. It's that we're on our way. And I think it's important to celebrate whether or not we have a designation. I think a lot of good things are happening. You could look at it as a banner is a banner, and that's it. Regardless, I think our staff are excited about the prospect of our future. And again, we want to continue to strive forward, as I've talked about numerous times. So we want to be competitive locally, we want to be competitive nationally, and we're on our way. So regardless of the decision, I'm proud of the work being done.
Explain to me, option one, to purchase this website license, what it would do for us.
So the first option, let me just double check. This would be just that this could go on as a top high school, as with number one or anyone else, and it would go on the district website. So just very simple, like you hit the home page, it's a digital website license for one page.
It's an emblem.
It's an emblem, correct. Option two would be, the print and then the digital marketing licenses, meaning that, on similar to a banner that we received, we would have a banner that we can place to highlight that, but then also we would be able to place that on things like our Facebook page, on other, documents that we share with families. Things of that nature.
And is this license good for a certain amount of time?
That's a great question. I believe it's for the duration of that current school year. So I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it would just be that it could be utilized for now, because I believe when the emblem is actually annual, that just says the 24-25 school year.
Right.
Right. So.
I could go either way. Like, I like celebrating our successes. I think it's important to celebrate successes, whether they're, little, big. I think it's important. I just, in my mind, I'm just, like, what is the benefit we're going to get out of it? Like, by take option one, putting it on the website. Is it going to motivate our students to do better? So that's where I'm, trying to.
That's what we took number 3 at $50 an hour. That's 35 hours worth of educational time we could give back in learning. Then we would be helping students.
I mean, don't get us wrong, we appreciate this increase, we really do, and the work you're doing, but, and we know that the work comes from underneath, which I see I thought I saw one of our union representatives here, that, it falls back on them as well, let's move it, we're looking, we're anxious to really, put a banner up, but we want something significant that, you can be proud of too, as teachers and administrators.
Set threshold.
Yes, professionals, yes.
No, set a threshold, 50%. Then you get the banners, you put the,
Let's be best in the county.
Yeah.
And that's something to put up on billboards up on 80.
That's hard.
Best in the county, Pleasant
That's
Valley.
big.
That's- So, I think I'm hearing there isn't any support for this, so we'll move on. Am I correct?
Not that there's I struggle with not celebrating incremental success. I struggle with that a little bit for the cost of $400 to not celebrate some kind of incremental. I just think, I don't know, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an administrator here. They're working to kind of drive improvement, and I feel, my concern is more, what is the staff and the administration gonna feel? Like, is it gonna be demotivational? That's all that would be my only concern for $400.
Yeah, I don't mind putting it on the website, but I'm not willing to go any further now.
Anyone else?
I mean, you could always put option one out there and then we can vote on it at the meeting, if you want. I'm definitely for either option one or not at this time. That's kind of where my thought process is, but I'm leaning option one because
I
I
think
like milestones.
I think it's
Yeah,
worth
I
saying we
agree.
made progress.
Yeah,
I think
Celebrating
that's
those
worthwhile.
successes.
What was last year's? Do we have that data?
Last year's, yeah, I can give you the numbers. It was a 30%. If you give me a second.
Maybe it's not a now, we don't, but like if we get like a 5-year increment, like what's progress look like? Is it worth taking that 5-year look back and saying, wow, look at what we've done in 5 years? That, to me, you're selling it more than just saying we have a number.
Well, the unfortunate thing is we got something called COVID that comes in the middle of that.
All right, so start after that.
So,
It's everyone's excuse.
so that skews, anybody knows a little bit about math, that skews it really bad.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, but everybody got it.
So we wouldn't have.
I understand, so, but I mean, if we are in some areas recovering faster than somebody else, that deserves some recognition. But I don't wanna be out there, beating the drum, that we made it to where we wanna be. But we certainly should take, in my mind, take the time to say that we've done better and substantially above some of our peers in this area. Okay? It's clear that it's not in all areas, and I gave our president that information, but I think we should recognize the area that we are
I want like a
Doing
United Way thermometer.
substantially better than most.
So throw out one out.
I like the English.
Okay, I have a suggestion to put option one on the agenda and it'll be voted on and hopefully, we'll have more, information. He's
Yeah,
working on it.
Yeah, I got it. So in terms of national rankings, for 2024, we were 9,945. This 2025 year, we were 6,873. So 30% increase, which again is more of my emphasis is that like within 1 year, that's pretty substantial growth to leapfrog that far. Again, we expect that we're going to continue to see that growth and that 6,000 gets closer to that 4,000. And then we're moving to the right of John's list all the way to the right. So that way we are, number one in the county. That's what we said that. I said that 4 years ago.
We just want to move one column to the right.
So we're going to continue to do it. but
Although,
Yes.
it's also fair to say that most of that growth was in the reading area and substantially less in the mathematics area.
Yeah.
So
And it's
we need to acknowledge that aspect.
it's maintained. If you looking at that trend data, the reading has been pretty solid in the high school. If you look at Keystone exams for the past probably 4 or 5 years. And we've had some challenges obviously with math and science. Science is done.
And math is a hard one. Once you get your kids behind in math, there's substantial work because you keep introducing new stuff that they don't understand.
Right.
So
Okay,
math is not an equivalent in the learning process with reading. Those are not an equivalent learning process.
okay. So we're okay with putting it on and, option one.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Great.
All right, transportation, I'm sorry, I have to back up. Is there any, public comment on education that we've just went through for a long period of time here? Yes.
I just wanted to recognize about the US News and World Report. I think there were 6 metrics that they actually rate, and I've tried several times. I would be signed into the US News to actually read what they were talking about. You have to put in all of my personal information, so I stopped doing that. If for the next school board meeting, can we actually discuss those metrics that US News and that they're judging us on? And I appreciate that we have moved up in those numbers, but I think some of the things that we are missing is the general successes. When I found out like the bagels at the PDE school, I was so impressed with that. And we keep talking about the parents are going into the PDE school. Those are the really important things that take it back away from US News and World Reports. It's like Consumer Reports. You have success and shine on them, whether using the actual website that actually exists. Because I go through those different places. it's a badge, but it's not the people, and that's all I want to say is, when we see the metrics, I can't get into what they are. One of them was college, and, I think we have to just focus on our early successes that we have had at the lower schools too. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes? Oops.
So I had a couple of questions for the elected board. Is the badge gonna look like the grade schools? Is that what the badge looks like? And is that a yearly license that you're looking at?
It's not,
It's a yearly license. It would be the digital place at one place on a website. And if you just Google the U.S. World News and Report, it's kind of like a banner, a silver banner that just says, top performing high school within the country. Something like that.
It would just say top performing school, doesn't give the grade, and it's a license every year.
It says best high school U.S. World News and Report rankings. Best high schools is what it says.
And it's a license every year that you're gonna find.
Every year that you would then qualify, but yes, looking at our trajectory, technically, yes.
I have another question about the presentation. Nice for the Bears Academy and Central Valley and Edgewood. Oops, let me get this one. So my question is, in the presentations that you have with it, is there a way, how are you presenting these numbers out to the public? Because there isn't communication that we can see that people could be like aware of, this is the excellence that the PV Bear Academy is doing. And as a result, they may come back to Academy because they'd be more successful than the other ones by new data, which, they're always very nice. So I didn't know if there was that kind of thing coming. I didn't know if that was coming in the presentation or can be done to get it out to the public and communications. I don't think anybody knows any of that compared to the other cyber schools. Now, there are other reasons. There are other reasons why, I understand that. But I think that would really be nice for the public to see that, because it's very impressive.
Thank you.
Those numbers. And then is there a possibility to use other schools too besides Central Valley? And then would that draw them back into PV Bear Academy or Open Water? Because I think it's not going to publicize the successes.
No, and I think, it's a complex question, there's a couple questions in there. But the first one is, this is a public meeting, so hopefully at least some people took note of what we presented tonight. I am hopeful that once we are able to upload this presentation both to this agenda, we designed that also to possibly be something that, we would probably remove a couple slides or something like that, but also to post it on our own website. Some of the slides we actually posted in there that were informational were directly for that purpose of, again, we skipped through like slides 1 through 5 very quickly. That's who we are, what we are. That's for the community. So again, taking that presentation and actually getting it out there for, maybe we post it out on our homepage, it'll certainly be on the PVBA page, but I'll probably remove things like that and stuff like that, because that's not really what we do broadcasting. As far as partnering with a different school, as of right now, most schools that are partnered are part of that partnership with Seneca Valley. As a matter of fact, when we are filling our contracts on stuff like that, even with Imagine Learning, we're getting pricing right now as part of Seneca Valley consortium. So our pricing for Imagine Learning is slightly reduced just because we actually work with them, even for our K-5 stuff, which we hold independent. So to remove us from that buying power, I think is actually not our best move. I would prefer to, no matter what, like I said, some cookies at Christmas time, stay part of that consortium, stay part of that safety net, even if we're not utilizing their teachers, if we choose to take that more in-house approach, I still think it's best if we stay part of that consortium.
Could I ask? Yeah, could,
And the contract, quite honestly, that yearly option for us to do, it's flexible enough that it gives us a lot of availability to move in and out as we need to, where a lot of contracts are not that lenient.
I guess my question would be, due to the success, not for you, but for Denise, due to the success that we're having with Seneca Valley, why would you want to see us move away from them?
Because we would be able to bring our kids back to PV Bears Academy and or brick and mortar, and then the 5-year plan is that our teacher would be.
Oh, I thought you were saying you wanted us to go to a different school district. That's what I thought you were asking. I'm sorry. Okay, we all thought that. Okay.
That's exactly why it's the way
Yeah, we all thought that.
Sorry about that.
have 3 questions running in my head for that, so apologies, but that, because
Okay.
it's on the 5-year plan, moving that direction, and yeah, it's nice to be friends with them and everything too. And I'm always looking for them to come back.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
we all
we
are,
always-
but that wasn't how we understood the
Of
question.
course, I love the newsletter that we used, I told you that before. That might be a way, even if it's digital, for people to have access to it, instead of the cost of the newsletter, although there might be ways to do that, but that's to be determined.
Are you allowed to contact our students that are in other,
I have,
I know, I'm not just saying, because like she's saying, put it out there for other, but we, if we want to get them from these other places, like, they're not gonna come and look at this. They're not gonna watch these board meetings, right?
realistically, the best way that we've been able to do this in previous school districts, when I've done things where we were trying to make sure our information was broadcast to a larger audience. In some cases, we ended up posting flyers and stuff around our community hubs. Hey, check us out. Here's this information. We graduated this percentage. How are your kids doing? Like, and because we know they're not utilizing Pleasant Valley websites. We know they're not utilizing the Pleasant Valley. They're not picking up for Pleasant Valley calls. When we offer information sessions, they're not coming out to them. So I honestly feel that if we're trying to do that, maybe we can create a one-page pamphlet and hang them up in local businesses and say, hey, check us out. You know, I think honestly, word of mouth from what we've heard, and that's what we expected even 2 years ago when I took over, success kind of promotes success.
But even in social media, they can put it on.
Even
Everybody's all over that.
what I need to have happen, I honestly believe this to be true, is we have a couple people come over, they're successful in the program, and they tell their friends. And then they come over and they tell their friends. Because us going out and saying, hey, we're so great, check us out, is not much of a carrot. We need the people who are currently in those programs to say, we tried out the PD program and actually they're doing some pretty cool stuff over there, my kid's successful. How do we get that first wave? Last year we had about 3 students. This year we have more already. I'm hoping that we're starting to see that turning point or tipping point.
I'm certainly hoping when the renovation's done, they want to come back because they want to be in that facility.
We're hoping, but again, I think
Social media, they might want to do video,
Mhm.
things like that.
if they're signed up to the Pleasant Valley social media still, I'll be honest, I'd be shocked. But my hope is that we can start getting this out there.
Okay, all right. Any other questions?
One quick comment, the closer they get to graduation, the harder it will be to try to get them to come back. Because their focus is to going to completion, and they have no other objective other than getting that diploma.
Okay, Denise, one more question.
I know, but there's so many topics. So for the training, so they had the training a few weeks ago for the high school, now middle school's gonna get it, and you said it was virtual?
Which training are you speaking to?
I'm sorry, Mr. Pierre said. So is the training?
Which
for the
one?
high school- They're all the same, but no, so, yeah, sorry, sir. My question is this virtual learning, is it in-person learning from these teams? Any other questions? Is it virtual learning?
You mean training?
She's talking about training. I don't know for what.
And
I don't know what-
HMH, are there
Which-
live people coming? Is this the time when the live people are coming? Because
Tomorrow's
in the high
training?
school- yeah. In the high school a few weeks ago, it was the link that they watched, it wasn't person. And is this all part of the 12-6?
Tomorrow's training for
For the map reading fluency is virtual, the map growth is, there's 2 instructors coming
Right.
between 2 sessions in the morning and 2 sessions in the evening.
That's tomorrow's.
Correct.
Science, you said it was digital. So what is that?
There's no training for science.
We don't have
We don't have training for science.
Yeah.
So they're on that. So the training is
Works.
virtual. Okay. And the high school one before was virtual.
It was all buildings. It was just a refresher, and any new staff that got hired through the district over the summer, so they got the training for them.
So it's a link, that's the 12-6 we did.
No, that was the free one.
That was the free one.
That was the free one.
Okay, moving on to transportation. Tammy, are you doing that one?
Sure.
Okay.
So PB had a great start with transportation this year, and we're continuing to make some adjustments to the bus routes to support on-time arrivals at the schools. We haven't really had too many issues with anything. Just a community note, there is a new business, Pleasant Valley Fest. It's recently opened in the community. They provide after-school programs for K-5 students in our district, and as of September 2nd, we began transporting the students from PDE, PDI to this location as an after-school program.
Where are they located?
Across the street or
Street.
somewhere?
Yeah, in the,
I think it's a Freedom Gymnastics.
yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the name of it.
Across from the middle school here, like right here.
Yeah.
I haven't been in it, but I've heard a lot of good things. They have quite a few different activities that the kids can do after school.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
So we got it on as quickly as we could.
It's
We got
really
it
great.
on
We got a late phone call, but we were able to make some
We did.
adjustments 2 weeks ago.
That's great for our community.
That's good.
I've got,
Okay.
I've got a question on transportation.
Yep.
Where do we stand on the contract?
We are at the negotiation part with 2 vendors, and our solicitor is reviewing a few legalities that we need cleared up.
Okay. So next month, maybe?
Next month will be another committee meeting, I believe, for us to review all of that information. I'm gonna say late October, early November, we should be ready to present to the entire board.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I just got one comment on transportation.
Mhm.
For everybody out in the community that's listening, this happens every year at the start of the school year.
Mhm.
But I will say this, just in my neighborhood, I keep track of the bus runs and what time they're running. And it wasn't but a few days, and I noticed the buses were coming around at their normal time. So I think just from the observation of my community, it was a pretty quick turnaround in the school year for the buses to get their routes down. So folks, it's gonna happen every year. It's
Yeah.
inevitable, but it was a quick turnaround this year.
It was extremely quick.
Yep.
I mean, it was like the second day and the kids, my grandkids were at the door in the afternoon when they were supposed to be. It was amazing.
Quick turnaround.
Absolutely amazing.
Growth and progress.
Even with the construction.
Yeah,
Yeah. right.
absolutely amazing. Yes. Kudos to all involved. All right, 5-minute break or no?
Comments on transportation?
Oh, sorry. See, you gotta keep me in line.
Trying.
I'm getting tired. My eyes are getting tired. Community comments on transportation. Okay, 5-minute break? Yes, no?
He says it's not that long.
It's not long. The rest? Okay. All right, we're going on.
Power through.
If you have to excuse yourself, excuse yourself. All right, technology.
Sure, I got 13 slides now.
You are so funny.
So, just really quick update, I'd like to keep everyone kind of posted on this stuff. With the construction phase, we met with them as well for technology. We're informed that we're looking at moving the MDF, which our main, it's basically where the fiber comes into the school. They want us to move the MDF and all of
They all look at
those.
me, and they all look at me, they're like, I know what he's talking about, they're looking at me like.
MDF,
They all
right.
look at me like, yeah.
You're gonna get some text after
It's
this.
where the main server is, basically it's where the internet comes into our entire district. And that's in the high school. We're looking at moving that entire rack, which is a bunch of servers and connections and things like that. Construction wants that moved over to the new MDF, which is in the technology wing, essentially by January 1. That's a very large project that we're gonna be working on. So again, nothing needs to be done by the board. This is all budgeted for as of this point. But I do like to inform you just because that's a really big movement.
And they showed us that room during our tour.
Yes,
You saw
they-
the-
yeah, we
it's
saw
pretty
the,
sweet, isn't it?
yeah.
Anyone who's like a real nerd and likes that kind of stuff, that's a really
It's all the
nice room.
wires.
Oh, it's cool.
Are most of those wires already laid or are they complete?
That's the problem. So we actually have to get a hold of Blue Ridge. We have to actually have them come out and move the main fiber. While we're doing that, we're gonna look at building a redundancy for fiber, because right now we only have one backbone, if you will, of network. So if something happens to that,
That's the hub of the district.
everything, all buildings. So we're gonna probably ask Blue Ridge when they're in here if there's anything we can do to build in an extra redundancy while we're doing this project, to make sure that if something nicked that wire, we have something else we can fall back on. So again, stay tuned, more to that will be
So
coming.
the backup space has already been allocated?
Yes, the new MDF is completely completely built. The idea of moving a bunch of the servers, as best I can explain it, from the old MDF over to the new MDF, which is a very large process, is gonna be what is gonna be the labor part. It is built, it's complete, they already have the micro splits in, so we have it air conditioned, so that way all of our electronics are as
And
much better.
the number of planned days to do that, you plan to do it over the Christmas holiday?
It depends on whenever Blue Ridge can come in and do the fiber. So we're a little bit at liberty with them right now. Again, we already reached out to them to see when this is gonna happen. Our hope is that we're gonna be able to do it either after school hours or during like a break, yeah. And we'll have to flex some schedules and stuff, but. Any other questions about the MDF movement? Awesome. The last thing I'll be bringing onto the board agenda for the next board meeting, we did an inventory of some of our educational supplies. Involved in that inventory was actually some of the headphones back at PVE. We bought them a few years ago, if you remember during COVID. They're not in the best of shape. So I would like to bring onto the board $14,000, 310 is the total amount for all new headsets and microphones for PVE. Again, this is for a multitude of their educational systems, but we really don't want systems, headphones that aren't working correctly or they're falling apart. And I also don't really want to invest in something that isn't going to be of a high quality for our students. So this is the recommendation. It would be paid out of Title I, and that'll be on the next board agenda.
I mean, the elementary kids didn't keep them in good condition?
It's hard to, even though they keep them in the classroom.
We told them.
Well, honestly, just standard wear and tear. If you have a set of headphones and you're used to putting them on daily and unplugging them and plugging them in, even with my, adult fingers, they're gonna get beat up, so.
10 years worth of my books. Yeah, I just got the Apple, so.
Yeah, there you go. So, again, that's more of a, just letting you know we're.
Are we okay putting it on? I'm sorry,
I just don't know how long we'll do for like, what do we?
what does life expectancy
Yeah,
mean?
thank you.
It depends on the quality of the headphone. I'm very hopeful that we can get a few years out of these. And again, we're gonna develop a system with Roger to hopefully come up with storage solutions. I'm hopeful 3, 4
Well, these
years.
are bought during COVID, so that's 5. That's
Yeah.
I just
5.
don't like grandkids have to buy their own.
If they get used daily, 3 years is probably.
You know how many broken off things I see inside?
Yeah,
computers?
yeah, you get it.
There could be some that'll be.
Are we okay putting it on?
Good question.
Oh, yes.
Why the microphone? What's the interactions that they're having with a computer?
There's actually multiple programs right now, if you're thinking about some of the reading programs and also there's parts and times where they can speak into the computer and the computer can provide them feedback. So as we're talking about using AI, as we're talking about utilizing some of the newer platforms, there's opportunity for students to actually get instant feedback by being able to speak into it as well. Thinking about a reading program where they actually put up things and say, hey, read this sentence, a student can read it out loud into that microphone, they'll pick it up and say maybe, hey, you're not using this S correctly, and they'll give them other skills to develop that S sound.
Yeah.
They allow differentiation too. in the
Yeah,
class.
that's exactly.
You got a group of kids go over here and read, and then it allows the teacher to pull from the kids that need more one-on-one too.
And this is just elementary?
This is K through, yeah,
K2.
K2.
900? We're being a little,
That's total number of population of students in that school.
It's 300 a grade.
And we're using Title I money for just.
again, you can always say that, but we can always be allocating flex elsewhere to better uses.
Current plan is that space.
And these stay at the school, they do not go home.
As of right now, that is the plan.
They stay at the school and they do not go home.
Roger?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Hey, that's not my decision, that's that guy's decision. I just want to make sure. we're all- There you go.
All right, anyone else? We're all right putting it on? Okay,
Thank you.
all right. That's everything, Jason?
That's it for technology, thank
Okay.
you.
Questions from public?
So I know we're a one-to-one district with technology, and do all the teachers and the paraprofessionals have their own Chromebooks to use with these? These are just for the kids? Are the headphones going to be for the teachers, paraprofessionals with their Chromebooks? And do they all have them? Because in the past, they all had Chromebooks, and I don't know if they do or they don't. So are they aligned with the inventory system of the Chromebooks, these headphones, and do they have them with teachers and the paraprofessionals down in the PVC?
These headphones are for students. They're designed to fit students. If a para tries them on, it would probably be a little tight. But these are for the students.
So they're one-to-one with the Chromebooks too?
Yes.
Teachers have them, all teachers have them, all parents have them.
These are for, the headsets are for the students.
If you're asking it,
No increase in Chromebooks for the kids.
Not this motion.
So there's no relationship with those. Are they used in labs or they're Chromebooks?
No
It can be
relationship.
used in either, but in general, it's gonna be, this is gonna be used for the kids' Chromebooks in the classroom. That is the intent of these devices.
okay. All right, policy, anything under policy?
Nothing under policy,
Okay.
but 5 policies are being looked at, and when I'm done with them, I will bring them to the board.
Okay. Security, Chief Bronson, anything?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, he has nothing, but there is something here to do with
Yes.
Citizens Advisory Committee, so I don't know who's speaking to that.
I was just gonna do topics, you can take it.
No, I'll let you. But I'm,
My
wait
timing
a
was
minute.
efficient.
Set the timer.
Yes.
Listen,
Last night we had Dr.
I'll be done by
Conrad
9:00 if you
for
just
an
wait.
hour.
An hour and 30 minutes, 30 minutes over, a
30
lot of good information.
But it was great.
Give me the 3-minute timer. Go ahead, do it. I got it.
I'll definitely give you.
I'd like to see
3
the visual though, because I'm a
But it
visual
was
learner.
very, very.
All right, here we go. Let me jump into it.
3-minute timer on the screen.
Really good conversation last night. Myself, Chief Bronson was there, and we were engaged in some really good topics. Everything, all the information attachments will be uploaded once we have the minutes, and we'll put it all together. There were 6 major areas that we focused on. The first was connections to last month. The second was police involvement and how that differentiates from our administrative involvement in, things like investigating safety and security. We then moved on to reviewing the 2023 PAYS survey. This is a survey that we provide for grades 6, 8, 10, and 12. Our next PAYS survey will be happening on November 21st, 2025. We do have a lot of students that participate, so there is validity to our data, but remember that it's a survey, so we need to use multiple data points to triangulate data. Moving on, we talked about 24-25 safety and security report, a couple of highlights being that vaping is an area that we're continuing to address. We talked about relationships with FBI, the state police, and constantly being informed from multiple avenues about, things that are happening within the county, within the state, within the region. And the last is the busing, really tackling busing issues. And ultimately, we're finding that discipline is already occurring when students are misbehaving. Done. What we got?
1 minute and 31 seconds.
I mean, hey, let's go.
But it definitely was
All right.
very, very, very good. And it came across that the message was that our committee is also going to help us look at the media and social media and stuff like that, get back to Dr. Conrad or principals. You might get emails back to them that there's something happening out there that they want to contact you directly, not to answer on Facebook or anything like that, just so we have it in the upper what's going on.
Yeah.
And I know you addressed one of those issues as well.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, I had 4 parents reach out to me about something disturbing that was on social media, and I'll just leave it at that. It was really nice. I was actually able to follow up with all those parents today. So we just continue to encourage, like, when you see something that's not right, let us know, let the building principal know. We will address it. We'll find, what the issue is, and swift consequences occur as well. So that's it.
John, how many community members showed up last night?
At the table, we had 8 of our 12, and 4 were out in.
And it was back to school night too, so.
Yeah.
At the high school.
I will just add that the questions that came from the community were very good questions. We were able to answer most of them, with precise details, and some of them we had to hold back for legality reasons.
Just so you know, I cannot be an alternate any longer because you're meeting on Wednesday evenings, and
Yeah, she just told you.
I have something I do for myself on Wednesday evenings, so I do
So
get
selfish.
I know. Why not?
Walters to show up for at least one.
I
We'd be
didn't
all right.
expect to be coaching again. I was roped into it the last.
Yeah, he's coaching, and I.
Mr. Borgo's having, luckily there.
Oh, okay. So, but just so you know, I can't, if they continue to be Wednesday nights, I can't help you out. So, right now. In the summer I can, but not now. So, all right. Any other questions on security? Okay, anything from the public on security? Okay, going on to other. Do we have any other?
Okay, I do.
Okay,
We got America 250 coming up. And Mrs. Fields, I think you might have something to tell us about what's happening.
Actually, I do. I met with the other building principal, assistant principal, when did we meet, yesterday? Yesterday, and we have a plan that we're gonna share with our administrators here, but we'll.
Don't forget to invite me.
You got it. You got it. But we will be working within our buildings. It'll be stuff that we'll be doing all year. And our thought at our meeting was to put something together from each building over things that we've done throughout the year to kind of have a final video or some kind of final project that we can get out to the community to show what we've done in that regard.
Are we planning at each of the schools to do a Keystone art project?
We didn't talk about what each school's going to do as yet, but that is something that a school or two can do.
Okay, I'm willing for your art department to listen up, principals. I will put up $250 at each of the schools out of my money, not school money, for the art department to get their students to make a Keystone that will be displayed. And we'll split the money half to the student or group of students that creates it. The other half goes to the art department. Okay, that's my offer to you.
Thank you. Thank you
If
very much.
that's acceptable.
exciting.
More than acceptable. Thank you.
Is it like a contest or are you just asking them to do? Is it a contest for more students? No, or I'm.
They need to plan that. I'm not
Okay.
gonna plan.
Maybe
it.
the students select.
Yeah.
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 Something like
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know if it
We'll
was
make
a
it fun.
contest. Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, I was hoping it was.
All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be the thing here. So I'm
That's the
giving you
easy
the
part.
motivation. I'm giving you the
Yeah.
motivation to do a project.
That's the easy part.
Okay,
Challenge
with a little bit of,
accepted.
some reward. The other thing I'd like to say is, I'm working on a book on one-room schools, which I hope to have published before the end of the year. And I'd be willing to come in and talk to classes individually or in an auditorium or whatever you want about how education used to be, you know, probably not that long ago. I would say 60 years ago, we still had one-room schools. So, I will put together a presentation, I will tailor it to the audience, and, I'll make that offer as well. Okay? So, give me
Exciting.
a call, send me an email, let me know, I'll show up.
Okay, very exciting. Anyone else have any other?
I would just like to personally thank Randy for this evening, for ensuring that we did not get too chilled this evening.
I know.
I appreciate it.
Sending him a drive.
I do have one other item. I know I emailed you all because we had the discussion about MCTI's grand opening ceremony and dinner that some of you weren't sure you received the invitation. So I sent you the information. Just remember that tomorrow is the deadline to RSVP. So yeah, I think you have it all in the email I sent. So, all right. Anyone else?
We need to other.
I know. I'm just asking here first. Okay, we're on to other in the public.
Jenna Dooner from Polk Township, and it's nothing negative, actually. I'm glad that Mr. Moore brought up about Monroe 250. I'm on the Education Committee under Ms. Labrador at the County Commissioner's Office. Our meeting is tomorrow at 10 a.m. If there's anything I could take back, I'd be grateful because we've been meeting every month. So far, some of the biggest things, the takeaways that I've been able to bring back is that this Kelly Lombardo and some committee people have purchased books for the school libraries. I don't want to tell too much yet. I don't know if they've been in touch with Dr. Conrad. I think Ms. Labrador wanted to try to talk to the schools. So if there's anything, I can shoot you an email later tonight, Ms. Fields, if there's anything I can input to the committee tomorrow. I think it's nice to know that, I think they want to hear back from the schools as much as they can, at least within that particular subcommittee under the big committee that Lauren hosts. So I'll maybe just shoot, so you have my email. Anything we can take back would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Take me to do that, right?
No, I know. But I knew Mr.